pointing to them not playing. We've got some key running back injuries. Jets' Braylon Allen out 8 to 12 weeks, according to head coach Aaron Glenn. And then Bucky Irving of the Bucs, he's expected to be out versus Seattle. And then Raiders tight end Brock Bowers not practicing for a second straight day with a knee injury. To the Sabres, they're finishing up their preseason tonight at Pittsburgh. Pregame at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Alex Lyon expected to get the start in net. Some bad news, though, for next week's opener. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week to week and will not be ready for next Thursday's opener. Paul Hamilton has more on our website, WGR550.com. And then Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch the local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
My dad's not here right now. He's still at work. So I'm going to blast him.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I'm going to see if there's a clean version so that my parents and the people at my school will not get mad at me. We've got the spritzer filled with water just in case if stuff gets too fire. I'm going to set up the speaker and I'm going to listen to
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I think this is the best
Mike Schopp
feature that I've heard in a long time. I think his flow is really good in it, and I like his aggressiveness on it, and
the Bulldog.
Put not enough effort in it. I think overall his flow was good, but I don't like that mobile rapping. That was my review of
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Didn't need the spritzer. Wasn't fire enough. No spritzer for you. No spritzer.
Well, you might not be thinking it. How long have we been here? That kid is the current United States ambassador to Uzbekistan. So it's been a while. Like we've been here. Or is it Turkmenistan? I sometimes get my stands confused.
Can be hard. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the Department of War secretary, but we're not even sure if that's a real position. No one knows. But he made his bones through mumble rapping videos, and like I know we had a hand in his fame. And his
it's never really
prominence.
been acknowledged, though, which is frustrating. I mean, I'm a little hurt. I gotta admit,
you didn't get
that. He never
any
even
recognition.
No hat tip, no nothing. You know, even just a little. I don't know. Just even a hit like on the social media once in a while.
It's premature, but my unofficial plan is to have him induct me someday into one of these Hall of Fames. You know,
All
just
right.
to have this guy show up, and the room will come to its feet. Oh, there he is, the ambassador to Libya, or one of those. He's gonna be just lavished with praise and love that night whenever it comes. What a start! Football Friday on WGR, brought to you by Celino Law. Car crash? Call Celino. Call the 8s, and by Crosby's Pizza and Subs, Crosby's hometown fuel, game day ready since 1922. Got to get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Sox lost an elimination game.
Yeah.
Did that change anything about your overall relative indifference to their results? Did it hurt at all?
It stings a little. It stings a little. I was really pulling for the kid pitcher last night. I mean, both teams had rookie pitchers, relatively inexperienced. The Yankee guy was pretty grizzled compared to the Red Sox guy, but it stings a little, but not. I'm more optimistic for the future. Watching this kid pitch last night. I mean, who doesn't love a crafty lefty? He's a crafty lefty. He's not a power. Everybody who shows up out of we talked about it a little bit this summer. Like teams are just calling guys up and they show up and they're throwing 101 on the black. And this guy is like, he's Greg Maddux over here. He's just,
lefty
looping it in there,
Maddux.
And a lefty Maddux, sure.
He's John Tudor.
So I appreciate that. He pitched very well. And they've got a lot of young guys, a couple of whom weren't even around because they got hurt, mid-season or later. So I think they're set up pretty nicely. So I'll be more looking forward to the beginning of the next baseball season than I have been in a long time.
Okay, good.
I think that's where I'm at.
It's better for this that they didn't win.
Well,
You'll like them more
sure,
because they didn't win.
and I also don't have to arrange my Saturday tomorrow around watching them. Which I guess I gladly would have done that, but whatever.
What's that going to be like, 4 o'clock?
I'm off the
One
hook.
of the Jays.
I just know they're playing the Jays. The Yankees and Jays are playing tomorrow afternoon. I read. I didn't see a time, so I don't have to worry about that. But
4:08.
But I did feel compelled with the loss. The 3 days of the series, I wore this throwback Red Sox cap into work for the show, and I decided today, you know what, fly the flag. I don't want to be the guy like, oh, they lost, I'm putting the hat away. Good showing. I didn't think when I went to see them in August, they were live for the playoffs, but man, I don't know, June or July, when did they trade Devers? When did that happen? Earlier. I thought they were throwing the towel in on the season, and they put it together pretty nicely.
That is kind of cool when maybe this is one of these things when your team is a big market team and you can sort of lean into or enjoy. When your team sells, or even if you're a small market team, I suppose, sells, let's just say their best player and get better from it, get through it.
Yeah.
And the other team that buys him doesn't make it. Like that feels good.
Yeah.
Is that, well, not to rush you, but it's not Diggs, right? I mean, it wasn't like the Bills unloading Diggs last year to Houston was exactly this. I mean, maybe a little bit. It definitely was a move.
Yeah.
And it was, to be scrutinized. It was somewhat controversial. Will this work? We're not done
I think
there
are similarities, I think, for sure. So it's not completely off base at all. Not that you were suggesting it was. I think it works. The complicated thing about that is that I don't know. I don't think I was looking for a reason to walk away from the Red Sox 5 years ago or more. But them acting like a team that plays in Minnesota, not in Boston, really irritated me. The way they handled Mookie Betts really ticked me off. I should point out they had been right a couple times about turning their backs on big contracts for guys when they were due. Jacoby Ellsbury, for example, is a good one. Like they were worried about him staying in the lineup and didn't want to commit. They didn't. The Yankees did it, and Ellsbury played I don't even know, 100 games a year for the Yankees, I think, if that.
Which, by the way, in baseball is not that many.
Right. So, but frustration with them not acting the part, right? They've got this ballpark that is just a cash machine. Other big sports interests, they can spend like the Dodgers if they want to, but they choose not to, and that bugs me about them. And so, but that said, right, so them trading Devers is another step in that direction, and that made me really mad, but they became sort of this plucky, but that's fake though, because they have the resources. They don't have to be, but it's whether you want to invest in the players or not, because the players are all sort of scuffling to try to make a name for themselves as major league ball players, and you can get behind that, if you can separate the two streams there, because they're very different things. Mad that you don't spend. I don't want to be mad at the guys that are here, because they're playing maybe above their pay grade.
The Bills have done really well in this area. Like, how many guys have left in the last 5 years and made you miss them? I mean, Wyatt Teller is one name for this. He's a guard, right? I mean, just who cared before or after?
And
right?
their line is one of the strengths of the team.
And their line is great.
And
I mean,
they'd already be paying Wyatt Teller $30 million a year if he were still here.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do better. Davis leaves. Here was Davis, who, the Bills lose the game famously or infamously, so it changes this, but puts down one of the greatest stat lines in NFL postseason history. He got not the same year, but then he goes a couple of years ago, and possible that he goes to the right team, he gets a big contract, and he makes you miss him. He does enough where you're like, oh, you know what this team could really use? I wish they just would have kept Gabe Davis. And that did not happen at all. Like, there was just we didn't get off the ground on that one. Diggs was, more famous and more important to them, but he's older, and there was the relationship stuff that you always wondered about. And then he gets hurt before Houston's season gets very old. He's gone, and you're like, yeah, well, he's old, and so that's what happens. And other guys,
Tremaine
like
Edmonds signed a big free agent contract with the Bears, and I think the reaction from the fan base was largely, thank God the Bills didn't do that.
Good for him.
Right. So
Goodbye.
yeah, good for you. Get the bag. Like you've earned it, but let someone else do that.
Elam, I mean, they just bailed on that, as early as you really could have, I think. So, I mean, that's been part of the not something you think about necessarily, but like the Bills. Mm-hmm. The love affair with them is you don't even have. I mean, the Sabres are the opposite. Historically, the Sabres, they are really the opposite, aren't they? Anybody who leaves the Sabres is destined to win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Right.
Just immediately going to win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
So the opposite. Yeah.
This is the best thing that ever happened to you.
Right.
We're all thinking that as soon as the Sabres move on from a player. Lucky you.
Mm-hmm.
And
go fly, be free.
And the Bills just have not even had this, I don't want to say burden. Like, so what if they do? If the Bills have had the success they've had since the Diggs trade, but Diggs is also in the Pro Bowl and 1,000 yards, whatever. Maybe this year it ends up being something like this. Then you really don't care. Like you said about the line when I mentioned Teller. Like you really don't care, because when you care is if it's somebody that stays good on his new team, and your team is now bad, and there's a big downgrade on your team because of
in the
their
spot
leaving.
where they, yeah, right.
That's when the phones light up. That's when, well, you should have done this.
Right.
And there are enough fans to account for, to represent everything that's ever happened, that you're going to get. It's going to sound like we all think they're just dumb for making these moves. The Bills have somehow, I mean, not somehow, but much to their credit, been able to avoid that. Are you interested in Diggs here Sunday? How much a part of your interest in this game is him?
I don't know that I'm. It's a division game. If they had some other receiver that was had the resume that Diggs had, I don't think I would feel. I don't think I feel any different because Diggs is on the team. I don't. But that said. Sure, it cuts different if he has the game he had last week against Carolina, and they find a way to win the game. New England. Then that's going to sting. That'll sting extra. But going into it, I'm not excited to see him or anything. I'm not worried about them facing him really. Recognizing that he could hurt them. It's more results driven. I guess I would have to admit please don't let him beat me. It would be, him specifically. I mean, or I guess Mac Hollins, same thing, right?
Mac Hollins.
If somebody's going to make a game-winning play to set up the field goal that beats the Bills at the gun, I really don't want it to be one of those guys. But, that's two of their starting caliber receivers, so the chances are maybe decent that they'll have an impact on the game if New England wins it. But I'm not. It does not. New England with Drake May and I don't know who's an appropriate example of another receiver. If Cooper Kupp, is he better than Diggs still at this point?
No.
Okay. If Cooper Kupp were on the Patriots, I'd feel the same way about the game that I do sitting here right now. But I wouldn't have please don't let Cooper Kupp beat me.
Hot take. Cooper Kupp has never been better than Diggs.
Okay.
Hot take right there. Yeah, okay, right. Doesn't matter what the difference is that he played here. That I don't think there's anything to worry about in terms of Diggs on this particular angle. He's a possession receiver now. He was more than that here. The play, and you might ask 10 fans and get 10 different answers. The play that I think of, number one, when I think of Stefon Diggs playing for the Bills,
I know what it is
in New England.
Oh, okay.
It's not Arizona. Is that what you thought I was going to say?
No, I thought you were going to say the 80-yard drop against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
No, I don't think of him like that.
Okay, all right.
I don't think of him negatively.
All right.
I really don't. I mean, that it did end weirdly, but I don't think of him negatively.
I don't either, but that play still stands out to me. So I guess maybe I'm just more negative about it than you are. But I've said all week, like, I don't have anything against the guy at all. He was great here, and, I don't have any animosity toward him.
It's the Monday. It's when Belichick throws the phone. It's the Monday night game when I can't leave my room because I have COVID, and the rules for me are you can't leave your room. So I watched that game. I didn't watch the game. I listened to it downstairs, and I don't know. Maybe I did watch it on my phone or something, but. Yeah, it was a terrible fantasy beat. I remember that, too, from that night. Like, I was way ahead. My opponent had Diggs and Allen, and I got beat. It's a play going right to left.
Mm-hmm.
Touchdown.
And does he sort of wave at the defender? Yeah.
Yeah, like that was like peak Diggs, where he could separate like nobody. I mean, he was as good as there was at that. But then he could also, like, run away from you. I don't think this Diggs runs away from you. I think he's making the catch and going down. I think that's kind of where we're at with him. We'll see on Sunday night. I never ruled out the possibility that he would be good for the Patriots because he's been so good, and you never know with injuries like what it's going to mean.
It is. I'm going to say I'm mildly surprised that he's been this good this fast coming off of the injury at his age. I think it's the first real big leg or knee injury that he's ever had. And I can't remember his Minnesota career, but I don't remember him missing half a season or anything. So I thought that there was doubt about him being ready for the start. And not only did he make it, like he's put up a 100-yard game last week. So his first, but still, like I'm a little. It's not even a year since the injury, right? It was October last year that he got hurt,
right?
And it was week 5 when the Bills were there, and he was healthy still then. So
right.
we're not even to a year, and he, and not that that's unprecedented or anything, but still, to see him playing and looking reasonably like his old self. He is slower. He was slower by the time he left here before he got hurt, I think.
I'm not like I asked you how much he mattered in your anticipation for this game. Like the only extent to which he matters to me is really that I'm going to the game and sitting right behind the Patriots bench, and I think my son and I will be eager to look at him in this game. So there's that. But really, like, I'm almost not – I forget about him with the Patriots. I'm thinking about May a lot.
Yeah.
And sort of like the possibility that Allen and May have a long history together and what this game is for him and for them.
The bench factor is big, though. Like, if he does make a play – if he gets in the end zone – you might get a show behind the bench.
I love a show.
Him yelling at the fans, I'm him, all that kind of stuff he did that we loved when he did it here. I could see him doing all that. And not to be like a jerk necessarily. It's just, that's who he is. And if he does something important in this game, I think he'll want to make sure you see him.
Am I under anybody who wants this question can take it. Am I under any obligation to shout back?
No.
Do I need to engage with this at all?
Absolutely not.
Can I please just sit there and not do that?
But
Would that be all right?
But if you get identified by fans, you may be called on because you do host a radio show.
Well, I'll be wearing white, so you'll see me. I'll be wearing white, assuming I can find something white by Sunday. The Bills' email today is buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, 10% off. Like, what's that going to cost me? Like, I kind of want to find my own white shirt for this game. But, in an emergency. Mm-hmm. The big question, I'm sure a lot of listeners are asking themselves and wondering as they listen to us is...
sorry, do you have a white Sabres jersey? Maybe that would work.
I have... No, it can't.
Okay.
I got to go as white as possible.
Didn't mean to stop
I have one white Sabres jersey. Do you know whose name is on the back?
Is it Briere?
No.
I don't know.
Clint Malarchuk.
Oh, wow. Yeah, don't wear that.
Malarchuk 30. Yeah. It doesn't even fit. Like, I can't wear that.
Yeah, okay.
What is that, 1991?
I could loan you my Rob Ray. That would fit you. Anyway,
I'm not going to do that. I'm not wearing a Sabres jersey to this game.
Right.
Under no circumstances.
Right.
I'll wear
I was just looking for
Leaf
white
jersey.
I was looking for cheap.
Maybe if I
cheap
wear a white Leafs jersey, I fit in. Wendell Clark or somebody. I've got that sitting around.
Well, we're all pals with Toronto now.
Oh, they're BFFs. The Bills wish the Blue Jays luck today. We're connected, which is fine. No, I think the big question is: are these? This is a 4-hour show, right? And 3 of it's football Friday. There's a hockey game tonight. The Sabres have barreled in, and they're going to have a game pregame at 6:00. Moving in on football Friday, like a boss. Are these guys going to give us another free tight end touchdown bet? Are they going to continue to just give us free money? Will they do it again? Does it have to be a tight end? Just let me know. Does it have to be a tight end?
I mean, that's our branding at this point. We are 3 for 3 in the last 3 Thursday games.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing luck.
Yeah.
Who are these people? Jackson Hawes, A.J. Barner, Jake Tonjes. Hawes, Barner, Tonjes. It's not a personal injury it's an accountant. These people are doing your taxes. Hawes, Barner, and Tonjes are where you're going to get your taxes done. And your taxes are higher because you've just won a lot because they're scoring the first touchdown of every game they play in.
Got gambling income.
I guess Hawes was only the first Bills touchdown, but still.
Yeah.
Hawes was something like 1,200, plus 1,200 to score it all.
Yeah.
Barner was 6. Tonjes was 5 last night. Oh, baby. Sam's coming up. Sam, I listened to their whole show. He's like, we mentioned you guys. I'm like, they kind of always mention us for something, which I love. I'm vain. I love hearing my name on that show. But I did not hear any reference to the Tonjes gambit last night. But I guess there was one, and I even went back to listen again. Just not the whole thing, but I guess I missed it. So Sam will tell us about that as we talk Week 5 with Sam Panayotovich coming up. Sal will join us at 5 today, the Sabres at 6, and in between, debut appearance for one of the young stars in NFL studio work, Peter Overzet, who was on the YouTube panel for the Brazil game with, who was on that show? Brandon Marshall?
I don't know.
They had a whole team there, and Pete was on it. I watched some of it. He did great. Pete is the man atop the ship-chasing empire. It's more of a shorter fantasy segment we'll have with Pete. But super cool as his friend to see him get to do that on YouTube there before Week 1. And so we'll talk with him today as well. Sammy P. first up after the break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Friday on WGR, Bills and Patriots Sunday night. We will be back in a snap, brought to you by Snapdragon Apples, the official apple of the Buffalo Bills.
Folks, Bulldog here for FanDuel. You ready to
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
The Bills an 8-point favorite Sunday night, third home game in a row, and 8 is the lowest spread of the 3 games. Of course, the Bills did not cover either of their previous 2, Miami and New Orleans, but I wonder if that's really a talking point in their meetings, you know? We didn't cover these games. Probably not. They did win them. Seems like that's good enough.
Who did I see Mac Jones?
Mac Jones.
Now I'm worried that this isn't a real thing and maybe it was fake. But I thought I saw something today how Mac Jones said after yesterday's game that Kyle Shanahan had come to him at some point during the week, kiddingly complaining about the spread growing. That they were getting bumped down here. Like, this is what's happening. And Jones, the quote I saw, Jones was acting like he had no idea what he was even talking about, which, okay.
I guess that's what you say if you're at all suspicious of the question.
I guess, but I thought it was interesting that if that's real, that Kyle Shanahan was bringing up to his quarterback, like, man, we're 8.5. What's going on?
Yeah, what you don't want Jones to say there is, yeah, but the props aren't really changing that much.
Right.
That line went up like a rocket, which is one of those that made, I think, the smart players that made it easier to side with the Rams. Because when you see that, like, all right, well, everybody agrees. But San Francisco covers and even wins.
Yeah.
With us now, the host of Bet Sweats, Sam Panayotovich, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. Sam's in Boston. He can be a Patriots insider if we want. Insider calls presented by BetMGM. Check out the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Of course, Sam is not a Patriots insider. In fact, he's a big Bills backer this year. And Sam, here they are again. You have to give more than a touchdown to win.
I'd lay it before I'd take it for sure. I heard you guys yesterday. I had to listen for the touchdown boys with Joe O. I had to. So thank you for sharing that with me again. These guys have just been getting out Thursday Night Football missiles, and they're all hitting and connecting, which is awesome. Kudos to you guys. But I heard Joe say you guys are saying, don't lay the points, huh?
So I was listening to that conversation myself, and he even sort of got there when you were talking. I feel like he knew he was overstating it a little bit. Basically, we were just, well, I don't know about Bulldog. I think this was both of us, though. Just saying, I wouldn't pick them in Survivor because I'm not that confident that they'll win this game. I think New England's kind of interesting here. That's it.
Yeah, I've said I wouldn't be really surprised at all if New England won the game. So I don't want to go near an 8.5 or an 8-point spread. I think this is a very good quarterback. I think coming into his own, a lot of the metrics on him, EPA per drop back and stuff I think he might be third behind Allen and I don't know who's won. And I think the Bills' pass defense has not really been tested yet this season, Sam. So I think they'll score, and I'm not expecting that New England will win the game, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. So the number's just a little big for me.
The counter to that would be the Patriots have played 3 horrible teams and a really bad Steelers defense. We could play the stat game all we want, but I'd like to see it against a really good team in their building. Remember, this Patriots team almost lost to the Dolphins and could easily be 1-3. They also could have beaten the Steelers, but they fumbled 8 million times at the goal line. So it's a very inconsistent team. I just don't think offense, defense, special teams, they're anywhere near Buffalo. And we've also never seen this kid, play a team like this with expectations. Because I think a lot of people are saying, Drake May's good. He's progressing. He's getting better. That all may be true. I want to see it against an elite team, and you guys have an elite team.
Yeah, we did. With that in mind, we talked to Mike Giardi from the Boston Sports Journal yesterday. Whenever the Patriots are on the schedule, that's our go-to guy. And he said May can be kind of jittery at the start of games, like just too amped up. That was something to maybe keep in your back pocket for the beginning of this game. Like maybe the Bills can get him early and shake him a little bit.
First half, first quarter bets?
Yeah.
I will say, Sunday night, you guys wearing the Tony Montana whites, that's going to be intimidating. So if Buffalo can, say they take the kickback or go right down the field and it's 7-0, I'm going to feel really good about it. And then that live line is going to go to 10.5, 11.5. At which point, if you want to take the Patriots, you can take 11.5. I really want to see what happens early in the game. I'd also like to know, like, thumbs up, thumbs down on Ed Oliver, Milano. I have no idea. I'm assuming they play.
Trending up,
but it's not, it's not known for sure. It's, going to come down. They're both listed as questionable. They did work limited all 3 days this week in practice, which is encouraging because I don't think they were on the field at all last week.
Sean McDermott is on WGR Friday mornings around 11, and you guys were saying this today, like, I want to know what's going to happen. He'll often rule out players. He did that today for 2 other guys. So if they're out, he's not going to play games. He'll tell you. He'll tell us who's not playing, and he didn't do that with Milano or with Oliver. So that, I guess, maybe, feels good.
You win this one, Mike. You go from minus 3,000 to win the division to what? Minus 5,000? I mean, is that the nail in the coffin for the East after a win on Sunday? Could be.
Do they keep it on the board? Do we still play that if that happens? I mean, you said about. Go ahead.
DraftKings has 1,800. I don't see what FanDuel has. MGM has minus 3,000. So while minus 1,800 is expensive, it's not minus 3,000, if you know what I mean. Maybe you can parlay that with other things like the Bills to win the East and something else to happen, maybe a long shot or something.
This is maybe something I might have said with Joe where he got the vibe that he got. The bet is the Patriots right now to win the division because if they win the game,
they're one back.
They're one back with the tiebreaker on the road, and they have the easiest schedule of all time. So those numbers would change. Or you bet the Bills on Monday if that happens. I guess you could do that and get a reasonable price.
I'm not even thinking about that. I got the Patriots in reverse survivor. Let's go.
Okay. San Francisco last night, you pointed out this morning on BetSweats how they've now won 3 division games. And they're doing it, without so many key players. It's ironic that McCaffrey is playing through all this. He's the healthy one. But the quarterback and all their receivers, so many guys are out. How do you see the NFC West now? I heard you guys say you like Tampa and Seattle a little bit. The Rams, it's a bad loss. Nobody likes Arizona. What happens there?
Seattle's the one team that I'm still trying to figure out because I'm skeptical about Sam Darnold doing this over an entire season again. I could be way off there. Their defense is really, really good, and that's what Mike McDonald does. That's why they brought him in there, to turn their defense up. And, they have quickly morphed from a very bad defense that was 30th in the league in yards 3 years ago to now they're top 10 in every defensive category. So defense does win games in the NFL. I like the Niners more. Bulldog, I think Mike might have been off. It might have been you and Sal when I was at the golf course at the bachelor party or whatever, and I was like, Bills over Niners. And I got a lot of pushback from a lot of people. Not you guys, but a lot of people were like, oh, the Niners, blah, blah, blah. They're playing without 5 of their best 6 defensive players, and they're still, or offensive players, and they're still winning. It's remarkable how well they're coached on offense with Shanahan, obviously, and defense with Saleh. But, you got McCaffrey and then a bunch of backups and maybe CFL guys winning games. It's a testament to how well they're coached. I'm not going to shy away. I hope they get healthy down the road because I've got some nice tickets on them to win the NFC.
I've got NFC West exact order of finish. Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, LA. And all they're giving me now is even money on this, which, it's week 5. I'm not interested in even money.
No, who wants that?
But there's a nice win there if that actually. LA has to lose its way. There's still a lot of good players there, including the future offensive player of the year, right, Sam?
The one guy we talked about on this show in the summer was Nakua, and I didn't bet it.
Oh, no.
Did not.
Okay, well, you said it. You didn't bet it, but you said it.
You mentioned you like Tampa and Seattle. Aren't they severely, speaking of teams that are getting by, aren't they really damaged injury-wise?
Well, the O-line's been an issue for sure, and I'm looking right now. If people want to know, I look at Ourlads every morning, ORULADS. Outstanding.
I have a tab open on my screen every day here.
It looks like, obviously we know Evans and Irving are hurt. Their line is getting better, I guess. But I just love Baker as a dog. He's outstanding. Joe had the stat. He's like 65% as a starter in the NFL against the spread. and you could just never kill that team. Now, I guess if you're down a couple of weapons and you're playing with a kind of moved around line, that would fit into the bill. But Darnold's never also been great as a favorite. So I just think it's more of a trend thing for Joe.
Gotcha.
And I was happy to kind of say, yeah, I'll take 3.5.
Two of the top quarterbacks from the 18 draft, Mayfield and Darnold, former Panthers both this weekend in Seattle.
On their fourth teams? How many teams is
at least?
Right. Mayfield, I think that's the right number. I'm not sure about Darnold.
Darnold has got to be at least 4. San Francisco.
Yeah,
that's
I
at least
forgot
4.
about San Francisco, yeah.
Quarterbacks from the 18 draft even. Lamar Jackson misses, probably, Sam, if it's not official. And that's worth a touchdown in the spread. I mean, so few players, non-quarterbacks especially, move the line. With Lamar Jackson missing a game, and there are lots of other injuries with Baltimore, but that's like a 6 or 7 point move. I wonder what Allen would be. How much of that is some reflection on the backup quarterback? And because I would say to that, how much do we really know? Like, what do we base our opinion of Cooper Rush on? A couple games with Dallas, whatever we might have thought of him as a prospect when he was drafted. It feels like maybe there could be an edge in perhaps the market assuming too much about what they think a team's backup really is.
It's an inexact science. An odds maker would tell you he has the answer, but I mean, how do you say, oh, well, Josh Allen's worth 7 and Lamar's worth 6? Like, who weighs that and who grades that? That's ridiculous to say that that's absolute. But generally speaking, they've always said the best quarterbacks are worth about 7 points. And those guys this year would be Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow. I guess the average quarterback is a 0. So an odds maker, when he says a quarterback's worth 7, he's saying 7 minus 0 is 7. So, if Patrick Mahomes' backup was Lamar Jackson, Mahomes would only be worth 1, essentially. So it's really relative to who your backup is. And I think odds makers are not very high on the Buffalo backup, so that explains the value on Allen. But, yeah, I don't know, who's slapping numbers on at a show with a sign in the air with a number on it. It's an inexact science, but it's clear who the top quarterbacks in the league are.
Wonder what Mac Jones' number would be at this point after.
Oh, man, that's a good question. Probably 3 in that system. Now, Purdy to Jones, probably about 3.
Is my Dak Prescott for MVP ticket dead? Tear it up?
I would never tear it up, Mike. You never know what's going to happen.
Never tear it up.
There used to be a guy when I worked at the South Point in Vegas. He would walk around the casino and pick up slips. And he was just hoping to find one of those winners that didn't make it out of there. Some people walk out of the book and leave their bets. I'm pulling up the price right now. I don't want to say dead, but the team is just a defensive disaster. And it looks, I don't know what it is, Bulldog. They're missing something on that side of the ball. I can't quite put my finger on what the Cowboys
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Some would say pass rush. Maybe, but they didn't want to spend too much of their cap on 3 guys, Sam, as we got the apology tour for Jerry Jones early in the season. Every network has taken their turn making sure that Jerry Jones's message got out there. So, that might be it.
It is very funny. In a league that tries to win with young quarterbacks on their rookie contracts, he paid the quarterback and a number 1 receiver and let the best defensive player go. I mean, teams are trying to draft young, build around the quarterback, and then win before you got to pay him. Jerry paid him and then paid the receiver, who ironically enough got hurt when they used him like a running back.
Yes.
Make that make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything tomorrow cooking that you're interested in? I have one specific question about Notre Dame hosting Boise State. The number I see on that is 20.5, and this is not any kind of a study. This just feels like a game that I would flip into at about 7 o'clock while Boise State is driving for a go-ahead field goal. And Notre Dame, the announcer, everyone's in a panic in South Bend. But, it's anecdotal entirely.
I hope you're wrong, but I totally, as somebody who's laid big numbers with Marcus Freeman before, I've lived it. I was laying 17 or 18 in a game where Toledo's up in the final minute, and I'm like, oh, good bet, nerd. I got to win by 3 touchdowns, and I'm down 3 points or something like that. That said, Boise, Boise's not going to get a lot of stops in the game, guys. They shouldn't. Notre Dame's quarterback, if you haven't watched a lot, he's really young. C.J. Carr, he's a freshman. His numbers are up there with anybody in terms of like these advanced metrics and the quarterback rating and all that. He's been unbelievable. And some scouts that I talk to say that he's the best prospect in college. I hate that we have to rush right there, but that's what we do, right? That's our society. I think Notre Dame could win like 42-14. I laid it. And I also, my favorite play this week, I know we all had Bama last week, roll tide. When Alabama went to Nashville last year and lost to Vandy, the number was 23. Now the game a year later is in Tuscaloosa and the line's only 10.5. That's a mistake. Bama could blow them out.
Before you go, Sam, got a favorite baseball bet? I got Scooble through Joe for the World Series MVP, and I'm enjoying that. Whether it's an award or a winner, what's your number one baseball feel right now?
All my baseball bets are dead, Mike. So you tell me what to bet, and I'll bet it. I like the Dodgers in the series -120. I do.
Back on the horse, right? Isn't that what we do? Bulldog in these situations.
It didn't take long. It took me like 10 seconds to get there.
I know. You didn't need me.
All my baseball bets are the Dodgers.
That's right. Guess who has one baseball bet?
You didn't even take a
Sam.
breath at the end of that sentence before you said Dodgers.
Atta boy. All right, Sam. Thanks. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, let's go Bama.
Sam Panayotovich, Bet Sweats, weekday mornings 9 to noon on the Odyssey app and the Bet 1520. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We'll do picks at 4 today with Pete Overzet, Sal Capaccio, and a Sabres game still to come. So let me go, in the same vein. I don't have a bet. Dodgers. I need to make mine. Picks. Just, more casual in one sense, more serious in another. These are the ones that I think I've actually really bet on. But I usually don't actually bet on these games. It's just sort of on the air, sticking your neck out.
I usually will include, I don't bet on a single game ever. So usually my college game works its way into like some 4-leg thing on Saturday. So I'll probably do that again.
All right, that's coming up. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Friday on WGR. Ready to take your game day to the next level? Enter online now at WGR550.com for a chance to win a $300 tailgate tray certificate from Alibaba Kebab to feed 12 football fans. Each Friday, a winner will be announced during our show, Football Friday. Fire up your taste buds at any of their 3 locations. That's still to come today. Picks next after the update. Hey, Bulldog, big fan, long time. Just a quick, how you doing? Just a quick start-sit question.
Good.
Please.
Thanks.
Been listening a long time.
Thanks
You doing all right?
Thanks for calling. Yeah, good. Thank you. How are
Are
you?
you doing okay?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Got a quick start-sit question for you.
Okay, sure.
PPR, full PPR.
What is happening?
Full PPR. Well, sometimes people do that. They like, how's it going? And then you're like, you don't even really... Start 2, full PPR, Bulldog. This is how rich question, okay? How rich? Start 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Emeka Ibuka,
Definitely start him.
Quentin Johnston,
Go on.
Justin Jefferson. I right now have Jefferson on my bench.
I would stay away from Jefferson.
Would you really?
Yes.
Oh, see, this is going to hurt.
I just that Wentz, the line is banged up. They're playing the Browns. They've been in England for a week.
Is that bad?
I don't know. It's not home. I don't know, man. I'd be really worried about that. Yeah. And
Can you believe?
who do the Chargers have?
Washington. Great matchup.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
Can you believe how that sounds?
I know. It sounds insane. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that I would have the you-know-what to do it myself if I had to make that decision. But objectively, sitting here, you ask me, that's honestly how I would be really worried about the Vikings offense in general.
10 for 26 last week in Dublin against Pittsburgh with Wentz.
10 for 26?
10 for 126.
Oh, 126.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's he, Olave?
Right.
10 for 126, Jefferson.
All right.
On 11 targets.
That was against who again?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I don't think I can leave him out.
Yeah.
With these, isn't it just like, how will you feel the worst? And if I leave Jefferson on my bench for Quentin Johnston and it doesn't work out, I'm going to feel so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can ask Pete. What would he do?
This is the closest I feel like fantasy has ever felt to being a real team to me. Because, like, if you have Justin Jefferson on your real team, you have drafted him, you've paid him, I got to use this guy. Even if he's not, like, there's friction with the quarterback. Figure it out. Get out there. Like, you're just going to keep going because, you're pot committed. And that's what this feels like. You would have drafted him, obviously, top 5 in a draft to get him on your team in the first place. So
Usually. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's right. But, man, I might want to roll the dice on the other 2 guys.
Loved Figure It Out. Took me back. What do you need, Mike's help? Picks next on WGR.
Well, Buffalo's got New England this Sunday. How about making
Two players have been ruled out for the Bills as they get ready to host the New England Patriots for Sunday Night Football. Linebacker Dorian Williams and cornerback Dorian Strong. And then 4 players are officially questionable. Spencer Brown, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and TJ Sanders. And on Sanders, he was originally not expected to practice today, but turns out he was a limited participant. The Barnes Firm Injury Report is brought to you by The Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-million. On the Patriots side of things, they also have 4 players listed as questionable. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, linebacker Clavon Chason, cornerback Carlton Davis, and linebacker Tavi Jale. Pregame on Sunday is going to get underway at 1 p.m. We are going to carry you all the way to kickoff at 8:20, where we'll then hand things off to Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio, who will be on the call from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. And do stay tuned. Sal's going to join the show at 5 p.m. Some other injury notes: Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, again not practicing for the Ravens. Neither, though, have been ruled out for this weekend as Baltimore gets ready to host Houston. We had some running back injuries. Jets' Braylon Allen out 8 to 12 weeks, according to head coach Aaron Glenn. And then Bucky Irving of the Bucs expected out this week versus Seattle. And then Raiders tight end Brock Bowers not practicing for a second straight day with a knee injury. For the Sabres, they're going to be finishing up their preseason tonight at Pittsburgh. Pregame at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Alex Lyon expected to get the start in net. Some bad news, though, for next week's opener. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week-to-week and will not be ready next Thursday. Paul Hamilton has more on our website, WGR550.com. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp
This guy's a real jerk.
and the Bulldog
I'm sort of anal retentive, OCD kind of whack job.
on WGR.
Football Friday continues on WGR. Pete Overzet will join us at 4:30. I'm super excited for that. He is of ship-chasing fame. Should I have put that in quotes? I mean, it's in fantasy, it's pretty famous, but I'm not sure everybody walking around Wegmans right now knows what ship-chasing is. I'm doing my best to change that. Sal Capaccio at 5. The Sabres are in Pittsburgh. Final preseason game, 6 o'clock. Paul Hamilton.
You say it's famous, people will start to believe it's famous, even if they don't know what it is. That's how it works.
Just say it is.
Just sell it.
If you want to be a knight, act like a knight.
Branding, baby.
Looking at Matt Prater's football reference page. Ever done that?
Why would I?
I mean, he's a player on the Bills. You might want to know his age, how many kicks he's made or missed. Those are a couple reasons. No?
I can find all that at ESPN.com.
Yes, I suppose. Do they have his touchback rate?
No, they definitely don't have that.
Are you sure?
Well, I shouldn't say definitely. I've never gone looking, I guess.
Here's what's funny to me about this. So, last 4 years, the previous 4 years, Prater kicked for the Cardinals. And we hated him because he was on the Cardinals.
Of course.
Touchback percentage starting at 2021, 70.
He even for a time had their logo shaved into the side of his head, like Leonard Smith used to have the Bills
Come
logo.
on.
Yeah,
Did he?
you don't remember that?
No.
I don't know. I made that up. Go ahead.
Did you ever have a logo?
I didn't mean to
Have you ever? Well, I was going to say ever have anything shaved in your head, but that answer is yes. Did we do anything with a logo or anything?
No,
when we
there was
shaved
no
your head?
logo. It was just shaved with a green spike at
Right.
the front.
Bulldog lost a bet one year, and we
Yeah.
shaved his head.
We used to the picks used to really mean something.
They
around
did.
Here,
They did.
back in the day.
Last 4 years, Matt Prater's touchback percentage with the Cardinals, 75.3, 69.4, 83.5, 85.0. 5 out of 6 kickoffs, or 6 out of 7, by Matt Prater last 2 years with Arizona would be touchbacks.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 11.5. What they need on Pro Football Reference is some sort of an asterisk
Right, to
tell you that touchbacks are bad now.
Right.
This player has not fallen off in this category. He means it to look like this. He wants a small number. He used to want a big number. Now you want a small number.
Will there be people like us, I'll say maybe more like you, and this is a compliment, who would look at such a page in 50 years doing this job,
Absolutely.
they're going to look at this data and be puzzled about why, if there is no such note on the page.
Yes.
It's like, why did everybody's touchback percentages fall through the floor? What happened?
Yes.
Did they move kickoffs back to the 20? Like, what? What is going on?
Yes. There should be some, because now you don't want a high touchback percentage. You want a low one. You want that to, it's kind of flipped. And so, yes, you're going to have context there, or else you're going to be confused. You'll do well to look at different kickers and notice that Matt Prater was not the only one.
Right.
The league did not get to, what are they calling them? Dirty ball kickoffs?
Knuckleball.
Before we did.
Right.
We were on that.
Right.
We figured that out before the NFL did. Like, this is the kickoff they're going to want. And even if you land it short, the Rams guy did last night. Somebody did last night. And they went to the 40. Even that trade-off once in a while is going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was San Francisco.
The Rams are one of the teams that I mentioned. It was they and I forget who else that had been using that tactic very effectively. When the Rams played Philadelphia, like, every kickoff was just a hand grenade.
Right, you said that.
Yeah. So they and I didn't see last night's game because I was watching the Red Sox not score any runs. Instead, so I didn't see like how that went for them last night. But like that's the play, man. Like, if you can do it effectively, I think that's better than, like you said, you're going to get some. You're going to get some misses. Maybe it's going to, knuckle wrong and go out of bounds on you, and you're stuck. But right now, the Bills, Prater's kicking it effectively, but it seems like I should check their. You probably find this at Pro Football Reference as well as other places. Their average drive start against, after kickoffs, I feel like every kickoff is coming past the 30. Guys are running it out. Their coverage has not been super tight so far, the Bills. The kicks are all landing like in a corner at the 3-yard line. Good, but they're getting out to the 30-yard line pretty regularly.
Interesting. Yeah, I would not have known that intuitively. Their opponent's average drive start is the 32, which ranks the Bills 24th in the league. I assume that's 24th best.
Now, is that all? That's all drives,
drives.
though, so that's not just kickoffs.
Right. And their own drive start average is the 29, which is 23rd. That's pretty close to the same. Prater's not kicking these dirty balls. He's kicking them into the corner.
He's pop-ups into the corner.
Second best idea.
Yeah. But you got to be able to, you got to tackle. You got to get down there and tackle, and their coverage has not been tight so far this year.
Just seeing here, they're giving up 6 yards an attempt on the ground. 6 yards per carry against the Bills. 6? Okay. Well, they're giving 8 to the Patriots. Let's see what we get here as it's time now. Matinee edition of picks.
What if I did do it? Even though I admit to nothing and never will. What does that make me? And I'm not here just defending myself, but all those pickers out there who've been caught. Each and every one of them. Who has to suffer the shame and humiliation because of people like you.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog
Are we not human? If we pick, do we not bleed?
on WGR,
I am not an animal.
Sports Radio 550.
Well, what do you think of this week? Easy time, hard time?
I had a very easy time finding NFL games I liked, which terrifies me.
Right, we don't know if that correlates to winning.
No, not at all.
Maybe
No,
it doesn't.
No.
Although
I will say, a couple of weeks ago, I think I said is one of these days where I sat down Friday morning and looked at it and didn't like anything, and I went 0-4-1 that week.
Okay. Well, you were right.
Right.
That's the one thing you were right about that week.
I guess. Right.
I don't like this week at all. I don't like it when I'm taking bad teams all the time or taking underdogs all the time. It really hasn't even been that kind of season. So I'm just trying to find the Bills could be one. I don't love it though. Like I'm trying to find a couple of favorites that feel good. The Rams might have been the team this week that you felt the best about, and they lost outright. 8.5-point favorites, they lost outright last night. So that didn't help me with this sort of distracting thought. But we'll press on here and we'll see what happens. A lot has been said this week. I have decided the Eagles are just not really good at all. And as such, plus I got an extra point today for some reason. I'll take Denver getting 4.5 now at Philadelphia. Okay. It was 3.5 yesterday when I brought this game up and said undefeated Super Bowl champs at home against the Broncos, and it's 3.5. Like, why? So people just must not like them. And now it's 4.5, so I might want to reconsider that, but I'll take Denver.
I knew there was a reason when I wrote that game down as one of my picks that I thought to myself, I think Mike likes this game. Because, now I remember. You said that yesterday on the show. Anyway, we'll see if I change. The rest of your roster.
Get ready for bad teams.
Will determine whether or not I'm going to pivot to something else.
Am I all right going first?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I went 2-3 last week. I was 2.5 back, I think. So unless you totally washed out.
Let me see if I can find out how I did last week. I won last night. I won a game last night.
Yeah, you were 11-6-2 going into last week, but I don't make a note of your picks. That the account that we rely on Twitter for that is where I get your results usually.
Or I ask my Uncle Chip, but he doesn't respond. Pick 2. All right, ready? Mm-hmm. Saints. This is really just a play on the numbers. -1.5 at home against the Giants. It's a little buster. Giants with Jackson Dart beating the Chargers. Okay. Even for much of that game without Neighbors, I mean, they never trailed. The Saints gave the Bills a game, but they're New Orleans, and Spencer Rattler has literally never won an NFL start. He's 0-10. Who's betting the Saints? This guy. -1.5. Why are they favored? -1.5 at home against the Giants. Is this a game we're stuck watching, by the way? Probably.
I haven't even looked. I can find that out very quickly.
This might determine when I decide to go to the stadium. Pick 3. Yikes. Mike, why again? Carolina. +1.5 at home against Miami. I'm giving Bryce Young and Dave Canales one more game. I promise, this is it, okay? I'm giving Bryce Young, who came out of last year as what a story. He's good, actually. And now this year has been mostly terrible. I believed in that. I believed in that coach. I'm getting points at home against the Dolphins without Tyreek Hill. Okay. I'm cringing. Can you see me on the Twitch? I'm cringing. I'm doing it. Carolina, +1.5 against Miami. We are starting Jalen Waddle.
Right. We have Denver and the Eagles at 1 o'clock. So the answer is no. We were not getting stuck with the game you mentioned.
That could be Nancy Romo.
Broncos, Eagles at 1. Cowboys and Jets also at 1 on Fox.
I like that.
And then Washington Chargers at 4:25.
I like all those games.
And, the morning game, too. Obviously, we get the morning game.
I don't like the morning game.
The morning game is Vikings.
I'll be watching Everton, Crystal Palace. I like all the local good choices out there.
Yeah, all right.
Dallas Jets is watchable. Denver Phillies interesting. Washington Chargers, that's good. How many games are better this week? The Packers are off. Pick 4. I got to do it.
Yeah, Detroit Cincinnati would have been better, but it's not now.
It's not now. It's the biggest spread of the week.
Right.
I got to do it. I'm cringing again. I'm taking Baltimore. They were a 4 or 5 or 6, 7 point favorite, and now they're a 1.5 point underdog to the Texans at home. I just want to trust the process here. Top organization. That should mean they have depth. I don't know what Cooper Rush is. Maybe Derrick Henry has some life in him. Maybe he doesn't. And maybe if you take Lamar Jackson out at Derrick Henry's current state, he's just not going to do anything. The Texans have a good defense. I'll just, suck it up here with Baltimore. +1.5. There are a few 1.5s. I got 3 on my card here. And finally, Michigan, -17.5 at home to Wisconsin.
Well, I'm going to stay with that Bronco game that you mentioned, getting 4.5 at the Eagles, because I can offset it by taking the Giants head up against you with the Saints, getting 1.5 in New Orleans. The Giants, I mean, they beat the Chargers in full marks, but they didn't really do much, did they? Like, Dart's numbers weren't great.
No,
I don't think
he ran.
He scored on their first drive. So, I mean, that might be a part of it. I mean, and the Saints were plucky here.
Plucky.
But the guy isn't won yet, and Jackson Dart played at Ole Miss. They're playing in New Orleans. Like, I don't know. I like it for the Giants. So I'll go against you on that. I am going to take the Browns getting 3.5 against the Vikings in London. I just do not trust Carson Wentz to make it happen against that defense. So I don't know how the Browns are going to get their points. I mean, we're talking about a rookie quarterback making his first start, and the Vikings have, Brian Flores and a reputation for making guys see ghosts and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe this game is 6-3 or something. But I'll take the Browns. I think I have a very hard time seeing Wentz be functional in this game against that defense. So I like that one.
I like it too.
I am going to go against our buddy Sammy P here. I'm doubling on going against Sammy P from his segment a half an hour or an hour or so ago here. I'm going to take Seattle -3 hosting Tampa. Across the country if you want it. Tampa's just pretty banged up, and Seattle's been impressive. So I'm going to trust Sam. Was not optimistic for Sam Darnold out there, but it's working, and it's working well.
3.5, okay?
Sure, we can do that. I don't mind.
I like it too. They're all on Tampa this morning, and I don't know. Are they just going to only play close games?
Yeah, right? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Is that what FanDuel has it at? No.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And college, I brought it up to Sam. I'm going to, despite his analysis, he knows way more about Boise State and Notre Dame than I do. I said it to Sam. I'll say it again. This just feels like a game you're going to turn on at 6:45. It's a 3:30 kickoff. You're going to turn on at 6:45, and everyone in the Notre Dame stadium is going to be saying rosaries. This like, why are we losing to Boise State? Why are we only ahead by 2 with a minute left, and they've got the ball at midfield? What is happening? And the announcers are going to be semi-panicked, but still trying to be really nice to Notre Dame because, that's how it works. That's just the vibe I get from this matchup. So
love it.
I'm rolling with Gutalytics. Boise State plus 20.5.
I like nothing. I like very little more than nervous Notre Dame announcers.
Right.
Noah Eagle. How do you get these jobs? Noah Eagle. 20.5. Why not 21? Sam's not here to take that question. Why not 21 if they're so much better? Why not 20.5? Why not 21? There's enough pressure.
They don't trust them.
There's a high-pressure system out of Boise that's sort of barely pressing against
right. It's not 21 because, frankly, the bookmakers are worried about turning the game on at 6:45 and seeing people saying rosaries in the stadium because they're only ahead by 2.
And because you can't be a self-respecting sports broadcast anymore without showing the fans every 5 seconds. Because that's what really we all want to see. We want to see pictures of the fans constantly. Right?
We want to see pictures of the fans, and apparently we want to see the rooms where the replay stuff is being decided.
That giant screen with the 24 squares.
Tiny
what am I, a
screens
716 when it's broken?
Right, I can't see anything anyways. College is giving you the audio. The Virginia-Florida State game last Friday night, they had a very impactful play at the end where the Florida State, the big receiver, Duke Robinson, I think is his name, juggled. It was an easy catch. He should have had it, but he juggled it, and they're giving us the audio while the refs are on the headset with whatever, the command center, Gotta get a video of the command center. And, okay, so then it's, all right, it's going to be third down. Yeah, third down. Oh, no, wait, fourth down. Like, this is not filling me with confidence about this process that you almost mistakenly just misidentified what down it was going to be, and someone had to correct you. I don't need to see how the sausage is made. I hate the sausage to begin with. Most normal thinking people do hate it. So the ref analyst isn't enough. Let's get you some video. Again, I'm going to fill the screen with stuff you can't decipher. I can't see the angles that you're looking at because the screen is a half an inch big because there's 20 of them on my 70-inch TV. What are we doing? Make it stop. Somebody, please. Picks.
Duke
everyone.
Robinson?
I think that's the kid's name. He's big.
It's not Duke Akis? Is that someone else? Duke Akis?
The guy, I'm not saying that Duke Akis isn't a real dude and a really good receiver. I just don't know who. I'm pretty sure Duke Robinson is a guy. Zach, am I close here?
It's Deuce Robinson.
Deuce Robinson. Okay. Deuce. I misheard Duke. I was too busy with the command center stuff. I don't know.
I'm not saying Dukakis isn't a real person. I'm sorry. You were going so good. I'm like, should I just save this? But when are we getting back to Duke Robinson? I mean, it's going to have to be now. It's going to have to be.
I'm running so hot I don't even know what the hell you just said.
Okay.
I missed the
Okay.
joke.
Okay.
If it was good and it landed out there, that's good.
It
You're
landed over here.
Good.
It landed over here. Dukakis.
Oh, that's okay. That's what it was.
I don't know.
I did not catch this.
As the show ever
Right.
sounded more political. Pete Overzet next. Some fantasy advice on WGR. Wait. Friday. Sorry, I got to say one more thing. Football Friday on WGR. We'll be back in a snap. Brought to you by Snapdragon Apples, the official apple of the Buffalo Bills.
And Bulldog here for Dash
Two players ruled out for the Buffalo Bills. They're going to host the New England Patriots for Sunday Night Football. Linebacker Dorian Williams and cornerback Dorian Strong. Then 4 players are questionable. Spencer Brown, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and TJ Sanders. On Sanders, he was originally expected to not practice today. However, he ended up being a limited participant. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Pregame on Sunday is going to get underway at 1 p.m. We'll carry you all the way to kickoff at 8:20, where we'll then hand things off to Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio, who will be on the call from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. A plethora of injuries for the Ravens, but some of the key ones, Lamar Jackson, he is officially out versus Houston, while safety Kyle Hamilton, he is questionable after not practicing the last 2 days. And then Raiders tight end Brock Bowers, he misses a second straight practice, but head coach Pete Carroll said with the media earlier today that the expectation is for Bowers to play versus Indianapolis. And then the Sabres, they're going to finish up their preseason tonight at Pittsburgh. Pregame at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Alex Lyon expected to get the start in net, but some bad news for next week's opener. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week to week. They are not going to be ready for next Thursday. Paul Hamilton has more on that up at our website, WGR550.com. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Very excited to see Matt Collins, yes. He made a very lasting impact in his one season here, and he's, again, another Buffalo kind of, I guess, folklore legend. We do miss him. He's awesome. Having some success over there in that offense too, so it'll be fun to see all the guys.
Josh Allen, did Matt Collins really make that big of an imprint with the Bills? Like, it's one season. He made a few plays. He didn't wear shoes a lot.
Right.
But I don't know. It's 1 year.
I think that's just the stuff you say, I think.
Yeah.
Is what
I can appreciate that they really liked him.
Sure.
But
everyone, look, team sports love the guys who do the dirty work, right?
And they do it in a fun way,
right? But hockey teams love the enforcers. They're out there battling for you. If you're a receiver and you're run blocking special teams guy, you're gonna be a dude. This is a part of the thinking that got me to the Jackson Hawes touchdown idea against Miami. He's getting a lot of run for doing the dirty work. They're gonna reward him. They're gonna give him a play, and it worked.
It did. With us now on the Wester Hotline, the leading content creator in fantasy football. His ship-chasing empire already had been the industry leader and has somehow maintained that distinction despite, hiring me about a year ago. Pete Overzet. His face would be on Mount Rushmore of fantasy content if there were only one face. How's that? Pete, meet Bulldog.
Hi, Pete.
Hey, nice to be joining you here. I knew I was in the right place when I was hearing Jackson Hawes conversation, so I found my people.
Oh, baby. No kidding. And, we're not touts, but 3 weeks in a row we have nailed the obscure tight end that your friends have never heard of scoring touchdowns on Thursday night. Hawes, A.J. Barner, Tonjes, Hawes couldn't do this, Bulldog, but those two guys even had They could even score the first touchdown
of the game, right?
So we're on a little bit of a roll there.
All right, now you just got to hope that it's not Austin Hooper doing it on Sunday night against you guys.
Right. There was a time...
No, we're restricted to Thursdays, Pete.
Oh, that's right. We only do Thursdays. There was
magic.
There was a time a year or two ago where we had a short conversation, and Mike Leone, I think, was involved about your coming up from Foxborough for a Patriots game. I kind of think this is the one to do. It's the last year of the stadium. No pressure or anything. It's late notice. But the Bills have these fancy whiteout uniforms, and the Patriots are kind of interesting right now. Would you agree?
I think they're very interesting, and not to mention you kind of have the Spider-Man meme thing with Josh Allen and Drake May, where Drake May, he's starting to flash the tools of looking like a burgeoning Josh Allen there. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really kind of interesting showcase for May and saying like, hey, are you ready to be in this conversation as one of the next great quarterbacks in the league, or are you dealing with such poor weaponry and dysfunction in New England that it's going to take another year or two to materialize?
What's a tougher puzzle, Pete? Bills pass catchers or Patriots running backs? Or is the answer just pretty much no across the board?
Well, I mean, I think it's Bills pass catchers or Patriots pass catchers, because those are both pretty confusing riddles. With running back eventually.
Hang on, we're kind of losing you here, Pete. Let me see if I can. Hang on a second. Let me see if we can just sort of off and on and make this sound better. What did I do?
I think Zach is.
We're calling you back.
Yeah, I think we're calling you back.
All right. Well, for you, like Stevenson, Henderson, not Gibson, but do you want to start either Stevenson or Henderson if you have a?
We now have Henderson on our bench because he wasn't getting it. So I don't know if it's time to make that switch again.
Pete, sorry, we lost you there. You were saying.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, I think we're going to get Henderson with a pretty big role here within the next few weeks, but they've just been so stubborn with it at this point. But eventually they're going to realize he's their only legitimate playmaker on offense and just be forced to give him 15-plus touches a game.
How do you like Pete dropping off? Role reversal here on WGR is usually me. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR. Thoughts on the Bills this year, and really James Cook. Like Allen is still cooking, but you're not getting the big numbers here, at least yet. Somewhat shades of last year. Cook won't quit though.
Yeah, and to me, the biggest difference isn't necessarily Josh Allen's, stuff at the goal line, because that was always the worry of him stealing the touchdowns. It's more that they're not using the Ty Johnson and Ray Davis stuff as much. I mean, You guys would know better than me, but down the playoffs, we were getting a lot of Ty Johnson. Ray Davis was kind of flashing, and then you're like, holy cow, James Cook could be getting squeezed in all these different directions, which is why he was going in the fourth round of fantasy drafts instead of the first round. I think if we knew how big this role was going to be, I think everyone would have gladly have taken him in the second round.
Yeah, I would love to know inside the Bills. Their coordinator, Joe Brady, did talk today, or not today, this week, about needing to get Davis more involved. And I would think that they would be mindful of overtaxing Cook. He is not a big workhorse type body, so I think you want to be careful there. And you're right, Davis has been a ghost. I feel like there is a week coming here where it doesn't necessarily eat into Cook's touchdowns, but there's a week coming, I don't know when it's going to happen, where Davis gets 10 carries, because it just has not happened yet this year.
Yeah, you would think so. And like you said, Bills have aspirations to play deep into January. You would want to make sure that Cook's healthy and stuff. But man, if you got James Cook on your fantasy team right now, I'm sure no complaints with how things are transpiring.
How about Kincaid at this point? He has scored each week. There's not been, not each week, but he has scored in each home game. That's what it is. It's not big volume yet. Although I think the targets per route run stuff is good on him this year. But he's getting in the end zone. He's got 3 touchdowns. He only had 2 his rookie year.
Yeah, I think where we're at with Kincaid now, and where we were drafting him in fantasy, he's paying off that price tag, right? You get a tight end tied to an elite quarterback, an elite offense, scoring touchdowns. What more could you want? I think there's just the lingering residue of this was a guy we had such high hopes for, of being the next volume monster, early career Hawkinson, these guys that step in and just command 8 to 9 targets a game, and that's just clearly not happening. So I think that disappointment just kind of stems from his early career expectations, but I think he's paying off his draft costs right now.
With Peter Overzet, you might have seen Pete as part of the YouTube coverage for the game in Brazil. He was on the panel for that, which was really cool to see. How did you end up with tight end this year? Did you have a big strategy? I ended up with a lot of Bowers and McBride up top, and I don't feel great about that. I mean, we don't even know if Bowers will play this week. McBride's been okay, but not necessarily paying off the early price. Tucker Kraft in the middle, Ferguson in the middle, even Kincaid, like you talked about. I mean, there have been some wins there. Do you feel good about how you played it, if you played it a certain way?
No, I don't feel good, Mike. No. It's a sore subject. You know that across our ship-chasing portfolio, where we have a lot of these high-stakes teams, we have way too much Brock Bowers. As it was happening, I was saying, good Lord, this guy has to stay healthy. And guess what? He didn't stay healthy. He's been playing with a brace. This week, the injury seemed to get even worse, and he wasn't practicing. He's technically questionable, but he's not himself right now. And he was drafted. We were drafting him in the first round of these tight end premium leagues where, granted, Granted, you do get 1.5 points for it, but again, you were hoping for him to be this guy that was getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game, and right now he's just looking like any other tight end out there, and that was not the thesis of the play. So, yeah, like you said, guys like Tucker Kraft and Ferguson have absolutely smashed their ADP, so I am not feeling good whatsoever about my heaps of Brock Bowers in fantasy.
Early first even in those leagues, and I was, I guess, spared from doing it again in my draft with you when the group voted Jahmyr Gibbs. And that looks pretty good. I mean, some of these first-round picks do not look good at all, and maybe he's even one. But, the receivers at the end of the first round that have kind of tanked a little bit, and even, the second round as well. But Gibbs looks like a hit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and that's even, there was a little worry. I think Gibbs would have been like the 101, 102 in most drafts, if not. Hey, they're going to still use Montgomery a little bit. They're still going to give him some of those goal line carries. But he is just so explosive. And this team, every week, this week they're projected to score 30 points. It's like David Montgomery can score a TD. Jahmyr Gibbs can score a TD. There's plenty to go around for everyone. Similar to the Bills last week when they have a 30-point team total versus the Saints.
Even the Patriots pulled that off last week in their game.
Yeah.
You had a few games last week where the touchdown saved you. Like Henderson would have been one if you started him. You were going to ask.
Any reluctance on putting Daniels right back in? If you've been living okay without him playing, because coming back from an injury, him and the parts around him, do you think full speed ahead on Washington?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's more concerning to me is the parts around him, like you mentioned. But with Daniels himself, I feel like they've been playing this pretty cautious. So if the team says he's good to go, I'm going to trust them. Our interests are very much aligned. The committers do not want him getting hurt this early in the season. So if they say he's ready to go, I'm starting him. I think he's, a top 3, top 4 quarterback play. But I am concerned in Debo has been missing some practice time. I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to play. But Daniels is the type of guy that he's the guy that makes Olamide Zaccheaus look good. He's the guy that makes Luke McCaffrey look good. So I think he's going to be fine, but I don't love that Debo's been on the injury report this week.
Is it a Jalen Lane opportunity? No McLaurin, no Noah Brown, if it matters. Maybe.
Yeah, I like Jalen Lane a lot. I mean, him and Luke McCaffrey seem to be kind of splitting. The Luke McCaffrey usage has been slightly better, I think, if you're trying to do a dart. But I think Lane is still a really intriguing stash. If you could see his role increasing as the season progresses, especially if McLaurin continues to miss time.
Couple more for Pete Overzet. We've been starting to get trade deadline calls. It's a month away, but look, they're 4-0, the Bills, and they might end up for another year sort of cakewalking, if that's a word, to the AFC East. How do you win a championship for once? And so we're starting to get calls like, who do you guys want? I wonder what DJ Moore is. I'm not thinking that the Bills would necessarily have an appetite for him, but should he get moved? Is he still good? What is DJ Moore right now?
Yeah, he's in an interesting spot. I honestly think there's some parallels to kind of like the Stefon Diggs stuff, right, where you kind of have that innate talent, really special player, but then you start to, drop yourself in an offense where there's other really good players, and the coach and the quarterback spread the ball around more, and they feel like, hey, I have this alpha, identity. DJ Moore coming into the league with Carolina where you're seeing 10-plus targets a game. So it seems like there's some trouble in paradise there that he's not too happy, but I do wonder if he was in the right spot, if he could feel reinvigorated. But there's just so few of those moves that happen mid-season where the wide receiver drops into the situation and, immediately improves their fantasy outlook. In general, you kind of want the static situation. So that's a tough one right now, but you're certainly underwater on where you drafted him based on his performance.
And last one for me, which is one I threw at Bulldog earlier, and he gave me a good answer. He gave me a business answer on this. Start 2 of the 3. Igbuka, Quentin Johnston, Justin Jefferson.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny that I haven't really been thinking about Justin Jefferson much just because he's not on the main slate this week, and that game is, a 38-point total, which is pretty insane. But, man, I think for me, and it does seem crazy, I'm probably sitting Igbokwe, which just doesn't feel great because he's been so good. But I do think he's been over-exceeding in the touchdown department. We also get Chris Godwin come back, immediately match him in target share, 91% of the routes, no limitations whatsoever in his first game back. I just feel like the Igbokwe, miracle touchdown train has to stop at some point, and I think you still feel really good about the QJ volume and obviously Jefferson's volume. But if someone wanted to say sit Jefferson in that super gross game, I wouldn't think they're crazy.
That's what
Thank you for not thinking I'm crazy.
I will go by which will make me feel the worst if I'm wrong. And I don't know. I guess that's Johnston, but yikes. What a good problem. And this is a Puka team who's already in the bank with his regular 24 points or whatever that was last night.
Oh, I know this genre of start-sit question is just trying to show off about how good your team is. You don't actually care about the answer.
That's right. Let's see. Jalen Lane. Let me think of a few. No, I'm not going to waste your time. Peter, thank you. Any questions for us?
No questions for you guys. Actually, no, I do have a question. Who's scoring a touchdown next Thursday night? I'm going to go place the bet right now.
Theo Johnson.
I'm going to need a little more time on that. I haven't gotten to that yet.
Theo Johnson. They were asking me last night because it was immediately it's Tanja. It's like, all right, what's next? Jed Bartlett style. What's next? And I'm like, maybe Theo. Giants, Eagles.
Mike's always ready. I have a whole system, Pete. I got to go through.
Yeah.
He's going to watch you first.
Once you crunch the numbers, make sure you message that to me or send a carrier pigeon down here to Boston, and then I'll place it.
ADP chasing is back this week. You can watch it there, and we'll give Bulldog an answer. How about that? Thank you, Pete. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Pete Overzet on the Wester Hotline. ADP Chasing is my show under his umbrella, which is during the season going once a month, first Tuesday of the month. So we'll be on coming up this Tuesday. Sal Capaccio at 5. Football Friday continues. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
and didn't want that to be like their last outing before the real games start. So
when I get a text in the morning from Sneaky Joe, I figure it's probably something he's said on the air, like it's a trivia question usually or something. And so I'm guessing that this came up this morning. Did you know that the Yankees have played all but 4 active Major League Baseball franchises in the playoffs at least once? There are only 4 franchises they have never met in the postseason.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah. 4 active. That seems insane. So
it's great.
I mean, that's so. Are all of them National League teams?
No. It's 2 of each.
Wow.
2 AL, 2 NL. They've never played in the playoffs.
That's a lot of World Series appearances.
It's about to be one.
Is what that is.
Yes. Wow. It's about to be one AL team as of tomorrow.
Because Toronto and they have never played a playoff series.
Right.
That's crazy.
I love it. Do you want to guess or do you want me to tell you?
Oh my gosh. Just tell me. I can't. I don't want to get the standings out and look at the National League and try to figure out who the 2 teams they haven't played in the World Series are.
We don't have time for that.
No.
The Rockies.
Okay.
Although, before you'd be like, of course, the Red Sox have played the Rockies in the postseason.
Right.
Washington.
Okay.
And the White Sox. Everybody else they've played at least once. Except for Toronto.
But yeah, that'll change tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow. Can't wait.
That is
be great.
That is incredible.
Open that roof tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? What a day that'll be up there. What a day.
Yeah.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Friday. Sal Capaccio next on WGR.
Two players have been ruled out for the Buffalo Bills. They get ready to host the New England Patriots for Sunday Night Football. Linebacker Dorian Williams and cornerback Dorian Strong. Then 4 players are questionable. Spencer Brown, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and TJ Sanders. Sanders, though, it should be noted, originally was not expected to practice today. However, turned out he became a limited participant. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured. For help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. Patriots have 4 players listed as questionable, 3 of which are starters. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, linebacker Clavon Chason, and cornerback Carlton Davis. And then for Sunday, pregame is going to get underway at 1 p.m. and carry you all the way to kickoff at 8:20, where we'll hand things off to Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio, who will be on the call from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. And do stay tuned. Sal's going to join the show coming up next. Other injuries around the league, Lamar Jackson officially out versus Houston, while safety Kyle Hamilton is questionable after not practicing the last 2 days, though the Ravens have a plethora of injuries heading into this weekend. And the Raiders, their tight end Brock Bowers, he missed a second straight day, but head coach Pete Carroll says the expectation is for Bowers to play versus Indianapolis. Then coming up in about an hour, Sabres pregame as they're going to wrap up their preseason tonight at Pittsburgh, 7 p.m. puck drop. Alex Lyon expected to get the start in net, though some bad news for next week's opener. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week to week and will not be ready next Thursday. Paul Hamilton has more on that up at our website, WGR550.com. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Hey, I really do mean this. If you missed picks, which we did early because of the Sabres game tonight, just turn on the feed, and there they are.
During the break, they were scrolling. They're not there now because Sal is on, and there's Sal's face down there on the YouTube. I'm not looking at the Twitch, but the pick G had the pick scrolling during the commercial break there. So.
I love that. Remember when the scroll was really only for important things in life?
Yes.
You know, now something has to be breaking. Like they just could not ever have that.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be something, whatever it is, even if it's a celebrity, a breakup.
Yep.
It has to be up there.
And
breaking. Breaking.
The worst for me with the scroll is this happens during hockey season if I'm watching a national broadcast. And I see something, but I see the end of it. So I don't have it, but it seems interesting to me. I want to know what this is, right? Injury or contract, whatever, right? I see something, and then the scroll, you gotta wait for it to come back. When you don't know where in the chain it is, and of course, like most normal people, I'm not just staring at the TV. Usually, I've got my iPad or I'm playing a guitar or something. I'm doing something else, and I get in these loops where I look up and it's like there it is again.
You
the
missed
tail
it.
end of the thing, the wild forward, blah, 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 whatever. Like I hate when that happens. There's got to be who was the guy that had the book? Rich Sniglet, the SNL guy.
Look at this.
Made up words.
That would be Rich Hall.
Rich Hall, Sniglets. I need a Sniglet for when I see a piece of information on the crawl on the TV, and then 10 minutes later I see the same bit, but I still don't have the whole story, and I'm waiting. Oh, now it's a commercial. Oh, I hate
Sal,
that.
how do you like this poll? Sniglets from Bulldog.
Oh, my God, I love it. I love Sniglets. Oh, my God, that's amazing. That was on that HBO show. What was the HBO show called? I can't remember.
It was called Not Necessarily the News.
Yes, Rich Hall Sniglets. And I don't remember a lot of the words.
No.
But one was like the act of people combing over their hair over their bald spot, right? There was one. The one I remember, too, I was laughing. I'm like, oh, my God, everybody does this. It was like looking in the mailbox and like peeking, even though nothing's in there, and then you look in and then you shut it, but then you go back and look again or something. You do a double take even though there's nothing there. Like little things like that. That is a great pull. I love that. You did. I mean, I feel old sometimes because we talk with some of the people we work with and they're younger, and you just made me feel so young right now, Bulldog.
Good, I'm here for you.
I think I remember one, and the word or the sniglet was Cheetle, which is the orange residue on your fingers when you're eating Cheetos.
That's good.
I think Cheetle was his word for that.
Somewhere there's got to be. So you know what's going to happen tonight now. I am going to look up sniglets online. There's got to be like a website of sniglets.
There's probably a whole maybe there's a Wikipedia page with all of them. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad I made you smile.
So Fridays, extra point, then you're talking to Sean McDermott, and you got the injury update there firsthand this morning. I don't know what your instincts might be if you have them on Milano or Oliver. He didn't rule them out, though, Sal.
He didn't, and practice today, again, all limited, and we'll see. You still have a couple days here, and as much as it might look like on a video, like Wednesday or Thursday, oh, this guy's not moving great or something like that, we talked about, those interpretations, you still have time. You're still 5 days away from a game, and then 4 days, and you're still here now 2 days away from a game at night. So I think it's very possible any of these guys play, and I certainly think I will say that I think Matt Milano, to me, has trended in a very good direction from what I saw. And that's not even like movement. What I'm just saying is what he's doing, which is tackling a bag, doing a gator roll, going down to the ground, up-thudding, all of that. Those are things that when you have a pec injury, you're not doing unless you're completely healthy, I think, or at least people are very confident that you can do all those things without re-injuring. So I think that sounds good. Spencer Brown, Jackson Hawes never seemed to me like they would be in any danger, and obviously Jackson Hawes, I think, is off the injury report now anyway.
Yeah, he's full. He practiced full today. Yeah.
There you go. So then, Oliver's the one though. That pushing off that ankle, he was limping pretty good last week when we saw him, but you have a few more days here that he can get ready, and we'll see if he's going to be good to go.
How do you feel about their defensive line overall? We were talking about Rousseau yesterday, and Mike referenced his PFF grade, which is quite good. I saw another ranking. I don't know what the metric was. It was like overall grades for defensive linemen, a different grading, a different site, and he's like 73rd or something. Like so, I feel like when I see defensive ends wreaking havoc, I feel like it's Bosa, but that might just be because he's the new guy. I feel like Rousseau's been kind of quiet this year. How would you assess him this season so far?
Yeah, I would agree. Quiet statistically, impactful plays. We've seen some more from him in the past and what we've seen this year. It's so funny bringing that up. Did you guys see what Steve Spagnuolo said about PFF grades last week? Did you see that?
Oh, I might have.
I did. I don't remember.
I'm sure it wasn't a glowing.
I know it wasn't complimentary.
No, it was more like what he said was, and this is what I've always said. I agree with Steve Spagnuolo here. He says, "Look, I mean, like he says, hey, I'm friends with Chris Collinsworth. He does a great job. They have a great team there." He said, it's hard to, he said they grade people, but they don't know their assignments. How do you grade people when you don't know your assignments, right? Like, which is true. Like you can look at it and go, oh, he did great on this play. Well, how do you know he was or wasn't supposed to do that or something else? I remember one time I'm in the Bills locker room. This is years ago. I asked an offensive lineman about it, and I'm not going to say the names here because I want to protect the innocent, because there was an offensive lineman who said he was mad because a running back on the Bills got like a perfect grade in the game. And he goes, but dude, he totally missed the pass protection. But like, how does PFF know that's his guy? He's like, and it doesn't look like I'm on film, but that was his guy in pass protection, not my guy. And those things happen. So anyway, the point is, I think that you take them for what they're worth. And there are some things, and by the way, Spagnuolo did say that they are useful in some ways, right? I mean, there are some things about them that you could take away as a general concept. That being said, I'm not as much on that part of it. From what I've seen, though, is to me, this is a classic case of he kind of is just doing a lot of things he's supposed to do, but he's not making the impactful play like you need him to make, right? That's where I fall right now on Greg Rousseau, which is, no, he's not bad. He's not making plays that you go, oh, my God, I can't believe he missed that. He did something wrong.
Right.
But I need more impact from him. It's kind of like what we had from Tremaine Edmonds for years, right? Tremaine Edmonds was the master of just doing his job but never making really an impactful play. And Greg Rousseau has made those plays. I need him to make more than what he's made this year, though, and I think that's where this comes from.
I guess I'll just say to this: the truth is, as usual, in the middle. Like you're not going to know everything about the assignment. I'm thinking of a former Bills offensive lineman who complained to me about PFF grades. Maybe it's the same guy. I don't know. But like, there's no way to know everything. I think with maybe, though, most positions on the field, you can get it pretty close. Like Rousseau's assignments are going to be self-evident almost always. You're going to know what he's meant to do on a particular play. Does he beat his man? Does he stay home? Like whatever it is they want from him, you're going to be able to tell. I think in the secondary, you can always tell. I think skill position players, maybe not blocking, but otherwise, you can tell. If the I don't need to be specific, like receivers on running plays, are they successful?
One thing that happens sometimes is, and maybe PFF accounts for this or whoever can grade, it doesn't have to be them. I think one thing that does happen, like in the secondary, you say, Mike, a lot of times fans will watch a game, the guy scores on you or has a long pass. You're like, I can't look at that. This guy got beat because he's the closest defender, when in reality it wasn't even his guy, right? Like he was just close because he was doing something else, which was his job. So it is always tough, right? There's a lot of intricacies. You're right. I think when it comes down to watching a one-on-one battle, hey, did you get blocked there or did you beat your guy? Setting the edge or going and getting a sack, right? I mean, like a lot of those things you can gain. And I think the overall point here, though, is on Greg Rousseau, what I said, which is I think he needs to be a little more impactful than what he's been so far. They paid him $80 million, $20 million a year. That's not the end-all, be-all. That's not why I'm saying because of the contract. I just think he's a guy they rely on to do a lot of those things, and it hasn't been impactful yet this year, but it doesn't mean that he hasn't done his job well.
Yeah, I would think I think the Bills were probably hoping that adding Bosa to the other side would benefit Rousseau. And maybe that'll still come. We'll see. What did he have? 8 sacks last year, but I think 3 of them were in the opener against Arizona. So, you look at the total, go 8. Okay, that's good. It's not great. It's good. And they gave him a good contract, not a great contract, right? I mean, $20 million for an edge rusher is mid-market almost, right? It's like the Josh Palmer contract at receiver. I think it's middle class almost because the elite guys are 40 to 50 now. But I don't know how much we should be expecting when you think of it that way. Like, what did he do for you last year? 5 sacks after the opener is, that's AJ Epinesa.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the reaction from fans would be, "Oh my God, you're paying this guy so much money, and we'll just move on from him or get somebody else." And I always want to point out, most teams have guys that are. He's better than, right? Like, he's still a good player. Greg Rousseau's a good player. It doesn't mean that, and yet we want more impactful stuff, and you want to see some of those numbers. But you got a handful of guys in the league who are great at what they do, and Trey Hendrickson and Micah Parsons and, T.J. Watt and those guys, even Joey Bosa, 4 forced fumbles this year. Like, it's great at what they do. Most teams don't have a guy like that. They have guys like Greg Rousseau or even less, where they're waiting. They need guys that come off the edge and be impactful players. So, you can look at it from 2 different prisms, which is what are you comparing him to? What you need the Bills to have, and that's what I do. Or are you comparing him to all these other players around the league? Because if that's the case, he's actually a pretty darn good player, to be quite honest with you. Maybe you feel he hasn't justified the number they gave him, but he's still a good player, and I do think they need a little bit more from him. I also do think that Ed Oliver not being available has impacted everybody on that defensive line. I just think that this is a guy that a team has to know. Maybe not he's the guy you're accounting for in every single play, but we saw in that Ravens game he can be an impactful player, and that can help everybody.
One more thing the grades have me thinking of is when we talked about Stephon Gilmore, and fans would complain that he doesn't make enough plays. Well, they never throw at him. So, maybe he's got his guy locked down, and we should just give him credit for that. Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline. How is this game for you in general? Is it a nervous game in terms of the Bills, or maybe quite the opposite, given whatever you think of the Patriots here? How do you see it?
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth on this, Mike. I've thought about this a lot because I keep thinking, oh, boy, it's the Patriots, and they got Mike Vrabel, and they got a nice young quarterback, and they're kind of up and coming, and they're coming for the Bills here. And then I look back, I look at their game. They lost to the Raiders at home. They lose to the Steelers, 5 turnovers, and thinking they don't have the talent the Bills have. Like, the Bills are just more talented from top to bottom, and the key position. The Bills have the league MVP. They have a nice young quarterback, but he's nowhere close to really Josh's level, right? I mean, the receivers are kind of like the Bills, which is they have a bunch of guys that are kind of considered number 2s or 1Bs or whatever you want to call them here. They have one guy they like to go to is Stefon Diggs, and He's 31 years old, and he's still very good as a route runner, but he's not a true, like, number one type of receiver, and then it's a bunch of tight ends. That being said, like, they've had a leaky pass defense. So I keep getting to a lot of things where, man, the Bills are better than this team. Like, they should go out and just take care of business against them, to be quite honest. But I do think it is the Patriots. It's Mike Vrabel. It's that logo, right? That logo, that helmet. It doesn't matter what has happened the last few years. There's a lot of scar tissue that gets you to, I don't know. It kind of makes me nervous still.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I don't love the weapons that the Patriots have, but I am pretty bullish on the quarterback. I like May a lot. He might be third in the league in EPA per dropback, behind Allen and someone else is first. I
wanted to say this earlier. I wonder if it's Darnold.
It's Jordan Love is the other guy. I remember Jeremy had it this morning. It's in that. I think it's Love first, Allen second, May third.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm wondering about their pass defense. I feel like they haven't been really tested. Miami converted third downs in the game, and I guess that's a part of it. But really, New Orleans didn't even really try to do much. So, I mean, I guess you could credit the Bills for shutting it down or not giving them looks, I guess. The Jets were inept, and Baltimore just ran however they wanted. So I'm curious to see, whatever state Diggs is in, the tight ends really matter, running backs out of the backfield. I feel like May has done a good job. I mean, that stat is, I think, to be respected.
Oh, I don't disagree at all. I think that he's also very high in completion percentage. He might even lead the league in the minimum qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about that. Chris Brown said he's number one in third down efficiency for a quarterback. Like, there's a lot of things to really like. He's mobile. He's athletic. He's smart. He's got an arm. He checks all the boxes, right? And he's got Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator. So I think all of those things are in his favor. What I do look at, though, sometimes is, or in this case, too, is they're not pushing the ball downfield. It's a lot of stuff underneath. It's a lot of tight end work. The running backs are involved. The Bills have seen this movie before with the New Orleans Saints. They saw it with the Miami Dolphins, who they could get downfield a little bit, but, they wanted to use their running backs. We saw that with Achane. They certainly saw it, with the Jets trying to do the same thing a little bit with a mobile quarterback and, trying to move the ball down the field like that. So I think the Bills, at least in this case, they'll be ready for that. They'll be prepared for that. And then, of course, the other similarity is a mobile quarterback, but they've been hurt by that. Even Tua got loose a little bit in scrambles, right? You wouldn't think that. But, man, last week it was Spencer Rattler, and you guys know I did the stat last week. 11 scrambles by quarterbacks against the Bills this year for 126 yards. It's over 11 yards a carry on a scramble. 7 of the 11 have resulted in first down. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw, nothing you can do. The guy just makes a play, whatever. But you've got to be able to be a little bit better when that quarterback starts moving around in the pocket, because some of these guys are trying to take advantage of it, and I fully expect Drake May to try and take advantage of that.
Do you have an offensive skill position matchup that you like against New England? Is there any reason to sort of think there's one player here that stands out as the go-to guy?
I don't know if it's a player, but I do think the Bills can throw on this team past the second level. I know Gonzalez is a terrific player, and they were without him, but they do not have good numbers right now in their secondary. There's a lot of stuff saying that the Patriots have not been able to hold teams down throwing the ball on them, and especially down the field a little bit. So I wonder if that's Keon Coleman. I don't know who that would be. Is that Elijah Moore? Is that Khalil Shakir? It could be anybody. It could be Dalton Kincaid. But I think, Mike, just that in general, now they're very good against the run. Milton Williams did practice today for them, by the way. He's limited. He went from limited to non-participant to limited. He's questionable for the game. He's a really, really good player, and he really kind of stirs a lot of what happens up front with them. They've allowed less than 78 yards a game rushing. We know the Bills want to run, but maybe the key here is unlocking the passing game downfield a little bit, loosen them up a little bit, and then you can do some things in the run game. But that's the matchup I like, Mike. I don't know if it's a specific player. The matchup I like is to push the ball downfield a little bit.
Okay.
I know this is not really your area, Sal, but do you know at all what else is attached to these rivalry uniforms? Like, is the field going to be different in any way, shape, or form for this game on Sunday night?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's not my area, but I would say I'm wondering too. But I know that other teams have done it.
Right.
I think what's different is the teams we've seen do it play on grass fields with paint. The Bills now they could roll out different turf, but I haven't seen anything like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't. I mean, it's the last year of the stadium. I guess they could maybe next year remember they're doing this for 3 years. I learned that today. I didn't realize that.
Okay.
They're doing these rivalry jerseys for 3 years. So maybe next year you get something a little different on a painted grass field, whereas this year it wouldn't be like that. No, nothing other than they want fans to wear white. The white out, right? The team is going to be wearing all white. The uniforms, the helmets, the jerseys. I do think that you don't get the full appreciation unless you see them up close. There's so many little nuances that go into these uniforms and different things about the logo, the stitching, whatever it is, anything like that you got to kind of see a little bit more of. And then, they're very involved with just the kind of the whole rivalry concept. Bennett Jamestown tonight is the game that's being highlighted, for part of the rivalry series. Fred Jackson is there tonight. He's part of the homecoming parade, I believe.
Awesome.
So I think it's more of an offshoot of what's happening in the community and around the area as much as it is inside the stadium.
Well, I got to give him this much. At least the jersey is described as white, and it actually looks white. Unlike the Miami jerseys that were some sort of blue aquatic something or other, and they just look black.
Deep water.
Which just made me really mad.
Yeah.
Like, you're I'm watching this, I'm looking at it, it's black, but you're telling me it's blue. Why didn't you just make it blue? If you wanted blue, make it blue.
Well, I did a podcast today with Fitzy and Meg Ortolini over in WEEI today, and they're with the, by the way, guys, ours is It's Always Game Day in Buffalo. There's one It's Always Game Day in Cleveland. Theirs is called the Six Rings, by the way, which makes me throw up in my mouth, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Anyway, they're really good people, and one of the things they said was, "What's up with the fact that it's the cold front and winter coming, and it's going to be 80 degrees?" I'm like, well, we're at the whim of the NFL schedule. The only choices were Miami on a Thursday in September or the New England Patriots on a Sunday night in October, because once the schedule came out, the Bills were already going to wear their red helmets on that last game, and that happened to be the Jets. So you really had your limited opportunities. If the Bills were playing December against one of these teams, it would have happened. But you know what? I don't care. I think it's going to look sweet underneath the lights. That'll look really cool.
So do I. I think I heard what you said about the end zones, too, that next year, but not Sunday.
Okay.
And Jeremy retweeted a comment on Twitter that the flags have all been replaced with
I saw
these
that.
white flags.
Yeah. All right, that's something. Yeah. All right.
White flags, I don't know.
Ooh.
Bad sign. All right, Sal, enjoy the game. Thanks for your time.
You got it, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather.
You too, man, and good for you on the Yankees. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to avoid the topic. You got us. That's how it goes sometimes. Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. He'd hung up by then. He didn't. I got to text him now because I feel bad.
I don't think you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I led with the Yankees the other day. I mean, anyway. Sal's appearance with us brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
The Friday Drive at 5 with Sal, brought to you by Northtown Hyundai, Western New York's premier Hyundai dealership. Shop online at northtownhyundai.com. By Northwest Bank for what's next. Get started at northwest.com. And by Excelsior Orthopedics Express. Sidelined with a sprain, strain, or break? Get to Excelsior Orthopedics Express. We will drive around the league next. Football Friday, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Thanks for listening. The Sabres are in Pittsburgh. Their final preseason game. Pregame with Paul Hamilton starts at 6 here on WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole of life. And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster.
Two players ruled out for Sunday for the Bills when they host New England Sunday Night Football. Linebacker Dorian Williams and cornerback Dorian Strong are the two that have been ruled out. Then four players are questionable: Spencer Brown, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and TJ Sanders. Sanders was originally not expected to practice today, although he turned out to be a limited participant. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. For the Patriots, they also have four players questionable, three of which are starters, those being defensive tackle Milton Williams, linebacker Clavon Chason, and cornerback Carlton Davis. And pregame on Sunday is going to get underway at 1 p.m. We'll carry you all the way to kickoff at 8:20. We'll then hand things off to Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio, who will be on the call from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. And then for the Sabres, they are going to wrap up their preseason tonight at Pittsburgh. Pregame coming up in just about a half hour at 6 for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Alex Lyon expected to get the start in net tonight, but some bad news for next week's opener. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week to week. They are not expected to be ready for next Thursday. Paul Hamilton has more on this up at our website, WGR550.com. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Hey, the whiteout sounds great. The uniforms look amazing. I've got a feeling the numbers are going to be a nightmare. I am prepared for one of those nightmares where I'll say to America, hey, if your son or daughter is playing in the game, I'm going to apologize right now because I might not be able to tell who it is. Thank goodness it's in this stadium. They look beautiful. They are very cool, very chic. I think the place will look awesome with everybody wearing white. But I don't know about those silver numbers. We'll hold our thoughts on that until we see it on Sunday night.
Mike Tirico on One Bills Live earlier this week. Yeah, we will see about that. I hope there isn't a problem. because I love the idea of these uniforms. I want it to work. I do love silver numbers. Bulldog. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things I love in life.
I run into people that, after they get done asking me how I can stand to be with you for as many hours as I am a week, they usually say, and what about him with the silver numbers? He loves those silver numbers.
And why does your mom keep at that? Like, can she just let it go? My favorite NFL jersey ever remains, this has been true for many years, the late 60s, early 70s Raiders jersey where the numbers were silver. And they would also, they did not have it down exactly nameplates back in those days. So, and this is, I think, really cool and distinctive. It's one of many things that's been lost in sports just by the years and by how perfectly efficient everything has to be in terms of uniforms or just play calling or everything.
The uniforms are more uniform.
The uniforms are uniform, that's the word. Didn't always look like that. The Sabres are a good example of this, where you could watch a Sabres game from the early 80s and the logo looks different guy to guy. Like somebody just sort of drew that up, and they don't always look identical to each other. And the names, that could be anything. But, yeah, the early 70s Raiders, and the numbers were silver on a white jersey, outlined in black. So I think you could read them, and I think Mike Tirico probably will have no trouble.
I hope so. Yeah, I haven't looked that closely. Are these outlined in the blue?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they'll probably show up. I get why he's worried about it.
Tampa. I mentioned Tampa the other day.
You're the guy that's in there. It's got to identify people right away. That's different than watching on TV. I feel like I watch the Bills so frequently, I almost always know who it is without the number because you just can tell. Hockey's the same way. If you watch a team and the lineup is stable, you know who guys are by the way they move, kind of. But, you do a different team every week, the numbers are definitely something you would rely on, I think.
Maybe not yourself. You would have been had you not watched baseball, but you got to think Jake Tonjes has reached this point where you just know it's him. I stood up. So he had just made...
I'll bet you did.
I did. He had just made a catch to get them down there. Okay, well, he didn't sprain his ankle in warm-ups. We mentioned him to Joe Ostrowski. Maybe this is live. And 2 plays later, he scored, and it was on the right side of the end zone, so away from the camera. And I stood up I think that's him. Just to myself, loud in the house. And it was. I'm used to losing.
You were very excited. You texted me, can you believe this game?
I know, I never do that.
And I didn't have the heart to write back to you, I'm not watching the game. I'm watching the baseball game. I figured you would figure that out eventually. But I'm looking at it no, I can't believe this game because I'm not. I'm watching baseball tonight.
Well, you didn't see it. The Niners win in overtime. They didn't have to win. I mean, it was not a game. They got up 14-0, but it was not a game where they just sort of dominated at all. It wasn't really like that. The Rams, I think, missed an extra point. They get a field goal late to tie it.
They fumbled at the one, and then they lost on 4th and 1 deep in 49er territory.
To end the game.
I did see the highlights and everything. So
that was really bad.
Yeah.
Nothing you haven't heard in here 1,000 times with Josh Allen in mind. And this is a point for Sam Panayotovich, who said this on his show this morning too. You cannot overstate the difference, the advantage between having the running quarterback and not in this league now. You just can't. Matthew Stafford had a great game. He never missed. He was perfect last night, but he will not be running a quarterback sneak. Mac Jones.
Or running around the end. Yeah, right.
Nothing.
He's not doing anything. Yeah.
His keeping the ball is not an option. The defense is not worried about that. Mac Jones ran quarterback sneaks in this game. You don't have to be Allen. You just have to be somebody that can pose the base level threat. And Stafford does not do that. So that's a big relief for a defense.
Sure.
He's not even going to sneak it. So, you're sort of taking your cues. They moved guys in motion. They ran Kyren Williams into a wall. But, so many things they could have done. They just were not going to run Stafford because that would never happen. And imagine
having that quarterback gives that play a better chance of, if that's your play call, having a quarterback who can run and the defense knows it gives you, I don't know what percent chance, but it's got to be a better chance of success on the run play, right? I mean, if you're the 49ers, you probably were just, if you were going to guess, right, fastball or slider, you were going to guess fastball. Here comes the running back.
Because he never throws a slider on 3 and 2 or
right,
something.
Whatever.
He's never done it.
You're gonna give it to that guy, and if you call play action there and the guy's wide open, you lose probably.
Right.
I mean,
win the game, Rams.
Right. That's.
I picked the Niners because the Rams never beat the 49ers. Yeah. Is that why? Because like Shanahan with all his backups on the field, he's the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins against the Rams, and it doesn't matter. Like everybody's open, and he's got McCaffrey, which that was almost a 30-point night, I think, in fantasy. Huge. Kyron Williams might have been bigger. Still, like nobody else. It's Kendrick Bourne, who the Patriots cut, going for 10 for 140 or something like that in that game. Yeah, that's just such a big advantage or disadvantage depending on whether your quarterback can move at all. Even Burrow, right? Like Burrow's hurt, but I never want to draft Burrow. I just never really want to get there. And people will tell you, as a passer, there's no one better. I mean, technically, reading defenses, all of it, like there's no one better than Burrow in the pocket. Fine. But I'm going to win. I think the Bills don't exactly beat the Bengals. But I'm not worried about it because I think the whole thing, the way it plays out, and again, you don't need the speech again, but it's what Allen can do on short yardage frees up so much on earlier downs because you're not afraid of 4th and 1. You're going to make it. It's a given almost. And that's, what the Rams, for one team, just don't have. There it is.
Yep.
Bad loss. It's a bad loss, though. I mean, fumbling at the 1.
And losing on 4th and 1. I mean, I definitely myself do not mind skipping the field goal there.
No, I was kind of shocked he went for it.
To tie the game, but, just...
Because McVay is not that progressive at that stuff.
Right.
I was surprised he went for it. I was pleased that he did. I didn't really care who won. I knew I was going to get the cover.
Yeah, I did. Survivor.
Survivor.
I'm out now.
Joe's pool?
Yeah.
That's the one?
Yeah, the $50,
the
not high roller one. Yeah.
Who should I take? I didn't take the Rams. Who should I take?
I'd never even really looked that deeply. He mentioned it yesterday to us, and I thought, yeah, you know what? I don't like the number, but come on, the Rams are going to win this game, is what I said to myself. I'm just going to punch that in. So I did not go through the process, really. I didn't do my due diligence. I guess I deserve to get burned, but whatever. I mean, the guy that runs the pool, that is one of our wagering experts, says I like this play. Like, okay. So I have no idea.
Care to look at it real quick?
What I would have liked better. Sure.
I'll tell you who I've picked.
All right.
Cincinnati in week 1, which was a narrow escape. That never should have won.
No kidding.
But I'm not interested in using them anymore, so that's fine. Baltimore, which I might say the same about. I might not want to use Baltimore again. So good. Minnesota in week 3 in the game against the Bengals. Might also not want to use Minnesota again. So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Denver last week. Easy wins, except for week 1. I mean, these have all been easy wins.
Yeah.
And right now I'm on Detroit, which is the biggest favorite of the week.
Yeah.
But I don't have to stay there. I don't like Philadelphia, which is a 4.5-point favorite.
I wouldn't touch Philly. I don't.
What about the Chiefs?
I don't think I would want. Jacksonville could beat them. I mean, anybody can beat anybody, but I don't think that is not. Considering the injuries San Francisco had, it's not even last night to me. It's less of a sure thing, and a sure thing last night didn't cash, of course. I'd be leery about Kansas City. Like, they're riding high, and everybody feels great about them because they blew out Baltimore last week. But like, this could be Liam Cohen, Jacksonville. Like, this could be a moment for Jacksonville to they're already 3-1, right?
Yeah.
This could be a really big moment for them. So I don't think I'm looking at the games now, and I think I would have landed on the Rams. Anyway, I don't like. There's nobody I like more. Detroit, obviously.
Bills.
Bills.
Are the Bills going to lose? What? Are the Bills going to lose though?
I like Detroit more than the Bills.
Okay.
I mean, they're playing
at Cincinnati.
They're playing the Bengals. But the question is, like, Joe, I think, said yesterday when he made the point about the Rams, if you want to save Detroit for later, you want to save the Bills for later, then that's how you land on the Rams, and I bought into that. Detroit's the easiest one. The Colts, I was going to pick the Raiders, and then the Bowers is not sounding great. Like, even if he plays, I'd be worried about him. So maybe the Colts. If I hadn't picked already, I think I could talk myself into the Colts.
As survivor pick?
Yeah.
6.5?
Yeah.
Sam had a great take on the Chiefs game. Chiefs at Jaguars Monday night. Kansas City -3 or 3.5 about. And he's like, they have this bit on Bet Sweats called The Room, which is like all the public bets, and they make fun of it constantly. And like basically you never want to be in the room. You never want to be with the teams that everybody, like Joe Fan is picking, which, like so far so good. I guess they're right. But so the Chiefs are like a public bet because they always are. And it's only 3 points and it's Monday night. He's like, everybody's going to pick the Chiefs, which means he won't want to. But he says something like, I'm going to sit down to watch that game and I'm going to be on Jacksonville. And it's going to come back from commercial, and you're going to hear dun 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 dun, and you're going to go, I'm such a fool for picking against the Chiefs on Monday night. Right. I'm dead. There's no way the Chiefs are losing this game. As soon as the four notes, as soon as you hear the four notes, you're dead. Picking Jacksonville to beat Kansas City. I don't really believe that, but I certainly know what he means.
I like the point a lot. Yeah.
Like, do you really want to bet against that? I don't. Drive Around the League, brought to you by Mike Barney Nissan. Awesome cars, great dealership, lousy jingle. Paul Hamilton and Sabres pregame coming up at 6. This is Football Friday on WGR. It's brought to you by Celino Law. Car crash? Call Celino. Call the 8s. And by Crosby's Pizza and Subs. Crosby's hometown fuel, game day ready since 1922. Talking with Sal earlier about the game Sunday night and Drake May. He's been sacked 13 times in 4 games, so about 3 a week, a little more. I think that's always something you've got to remember to mention when talking about Greg Rousseau or any edge rusher, like what they're not doing is how much control quarterbacks have over that. I mean, we had the conversation about PFF grades and just everything that maybe is happening on the field that we don't notice. What everybody wants from Rousseau is like bigger impact. And, that's a big hit. That's a sack. Maybe this is the game. And May might be susceptible to that. Probably a couple of these sacks at least are his running out of bounds for a 2-yard loss, I want to guess. Like that would count as a sack on a scramble.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe this will be Rousseau's night. Speaking of the Patriots, even though he's not on the Patriots anymore, but Mac Jones last night, I saw this from Lawrence Jackson, a prediction, and I agree with it. That Mac Jones will be an opening day starter somewhere in the league next year. I would bet it. Even money, I would bet it. He's somebody's QB1 next year.
How much more do we expect him to play with San Francisco? Like, is last night enough? Like, if that's it? Like, if Purdy comes back and never comes out again, is someone going, well, I mean, look at that. But, I mean, that's Kyle Shanahan. Do you have Kyle Shanahan on your staff?
Right.
Or, someone that can draw that up? Because that just seems like a perfect marriage there. So
Kyle Shanahan and anybody.
Yeah, right.
Is a perfect marriage.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance wasn't a very perfect marriage, although they didn't really give it much of a chance.
No.
But still, I mean,
Let me amend.
They did not even get to the honeymoon.
Kyle Shanahan and anybody except Trey Lance is a perfect marriage.
How about Kyle Shanahan and someone who's maybe not that talented? Or that gifted athletically. Like he will make it work. So I don't know. You need that. You need that guy to make Mac Jones work. So okay. I don't know. I mean, you should get odds on that bet. So I might like it anyway, right? But I don't know. There's a. I saw Sam Monson comment on a tweet today. Maybe it was one of the TV Ryan Clark. There was a long tweet from Ryan Clark about how like that now they know they shouldn't have paid Brock Purdy, and Monson's like, we had one game here. What are we doing? Slow down a little bit here. Mac Jones had some good games in New England too.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I did not see last night, so I can't say specifically like on last night, but I think he would need to do more to be a starter somewhere next year is where I would land, I think. Like he needs more opportunities to play, and if it goes pretty well, then yeah.
I haven't sorted out like how many teams I think could have openings, but it's probably some number. Maybe a quarter of the league will need a starter. Would Daniel Jones have been plus money last year? Yes. Would Russell Wilson even have been plus money last year? Yes. Even Aaron Rodgers? Like all guys who did. So that doesn't mean it has to work.
Mac Jones to the Steelers.
Mac Jones to the Steelers. I mean, Joe Flacco was an opening day starter this year.
Right.
One thing about Jones last night, and Purdy is paid, and he's going in when he's ready.
Right.
There's not a controversy there, I think. But Jones played through cramps. Like he went into the game on the injury report. He was really hurting. At one point, he got hit, and he was just rolling around on the ground like this guy's done. They showed the backup, Martinez, I think is his name, and you thought maybe that was it for Mac Jones, but he never left the game. Like he was limping all night, and I mean he got a win in L.A.
So he did with what Lamar Jackson couldn't do last week in Kansas City and toughed it out through an injury.
Okay, well, some are saying. Let's move on. Sabres at Penguins tonight. Pregame next. Paul Hamilton joins us here on WGR. He's not playing this week either.
Thursday, today, yeah, it's Friday.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
We so excited, we gonna have a ball today. Tomorrow is Saturday.
I'm itching inside. My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I took Deborah, went to the liquor store. I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
And tonight they are at Pittsburgh. Pregame coming up next for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Both going to be right here on WGR. Alex Lyon, he's expected to get the start in net, but there is some bad news for next week's opener against the Rangers. Both goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and defenseman Michael Kesselring are considered week-to-week and will not be ready for next Thursday. Paul Hamilton has more at our website, WGR550.com, and do stay tuned. Paul is going to join the show next. For the Bills, 2 players have been ruled out as they're going to host New England for Sunday Night Football. Linebacker Dorian Williams and cornerback Dorian Strong. Then 4 players are questionable. Spencer Brown, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver, and TJ Sanders. And on Sanders, he was originally expected to not practice today, but turns out he was a limited participant. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. For the Patriots, 4 players also questionable. 3 of them are starters. Defensive tackle Milton Williams, linebacker Clavon Chason, and cornerback Carlton Davis. Pregame on Sunday is going to get underway at 1 p.m. It's going to carry you all the way to kickoff at 8:20. We'll then hand things off to Chris Brown, Eric Wood, and Sal Capaccio, who are going to be on the call from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. And then the injuries continue to pile up for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson officially out versus Houston, while safety Kyle Hamilton is questionable after not practicing the last 2 days. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
The Sabres wrap up their preseason tonight in Pittsburgh. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Paul Hamilton shortly. Wednesday was not great.
No.
More ways than one?
Definitely. The biggest way it wasn't great is what happened to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I think, obviously, a preseason result, whatever, even against an AHL team, you lose, whatever. Luukkonen, that was really tough. He's been out all through camp and finally was ramping up, practicing, and okay, let's go. And from what Lindy Ruff is saying today, you'll hear this in a little bit, it's a different injury than the injury that was keeping him out of camp to begin with. And so I don't know if that's good or bad. All we know is that he's, week to week. And, I think a lot of the hope for the season was riding on a return to form for him. All they've got behind him, I think Alex Lyon was signed as a nice, I like the signing. It's a nice compliment. And if he's going to play 30 games for you, good. I don't know about him being a number 1, and I'm terrified of Georgiev and, Levi's in Rochester. So we're not even, the plane's not even on the tarmac yet here, and we're already talking about kind of a crisis. I don't know, crisis might be too strong. Maybe Lyon will be fine. I don't know. He's certainly capable of being what Luukkonen was last year, I think. But if you wanted better, I don't know.
Paul Hamilton with us. Paul, did you get the sense Wednesday that the injury to Luukkonen was as serious as it seems now?
Yeah, Lindy Ruff seemed like he was having kind of a tough time talking about it, meaning he didn't want to say too much. I think he had an inkling, but it wasn't official type of a thing. So it seemed like, and he mentioned then that he was actually hoping it was something different, that they were still had made progress with the old injury and are okay with it. So. I was thinking it might be something that, is going to linger for a bit.
Yeah, I was kind of, maybe I'm admitting I was kind of confused too, because I thought when it happened, it read bad, and then Ruff might have said, sounded like he was downplaying it a little bit, but maybe he was just sort of unsure what he had in this one.
Well, either way, Paul, what do you make of where they are? I mean, I said, I think Lyon is certainly a capable player. We know what he did with Florida. That's 3 seasons ago now, right? At the end of the season, the first year the Panthers went to the Cup and lost. He was the goalie that beat the Sabres. He was the goalie that started the playoffs. He got benched, and Bobrovsky went in, and they rode all the way to the finals before losing. So we know, he's experienced, but I just don't know about being a number one at this point.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what week to week is? Are we talking about the middle of this month? Are we talking about the middle of next month?
Yeah.
It's just it's so vague, as you know. That's the way injuries are in the NHL. So we're just going to have to wait and see. You're right. I think he's a good complement for your starting goaltender. I think he can get you through for a while if he has to go in there. Georgiev, nothing in the preseason has made me think that he's any different than he's been recently in the last 2-3 years. I mean, which hasn't been good. It's a
tough spot.
It's a tough spot. How long you're in it is definitely, I think, in play.
Right, and even, I mean, Luukkonen will be battling to get back, right? So I'm not implying at all that they'll rush him, but it's still going to be like, if he's out even if he's back before Halloween, say, let's split the middle. You said middle of this month, middle of next month. All right, split the difference. He's back by Halloween, then it's going to be, has he found his game yet? And all that kind of stuff like that. That's what the end of the summer and training camp is for, is to find your game, have your game in peak shape for the opening of the season, and we're obviously not going to get that. So it's just really tough news, I mean, they committed to him off of a very good, it wasn't just a good couple of weeks. It was a good half a season. And since then, it's been, he didn't play well, and now there's an injury, and it's just, this is a tough spot to be. And coupled with that, too, is the Kesselring news that he's going to be out weeks. That's another, that's the main piece from the trade that you gave away a 30-goal scorer in. And I'm going to pair him with Power, and it's going to stabilize that and maybe bring the best out of Power. And now that's on hold to start the season. And we're just it's a little more scrambly than you'd like for a team that, dare I say, needs to get off to a good start.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who is supposed to help you become better defensively, which is what they've been roaring about since last season ended, and the guy that you wanted to go get, now he too. I mean, it really, you look at it, the pieces that you needed to get off to a good start and to change what's happening here aren't going to be there. Now, Norris is still there, so, I mean, you've got a healthy Norris right now. I don't know quite honestly, I don't know if I'd be running him out there tonight. They're not running Dahlin out there, which I think is smart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he played 27 minutes the other night. He's fine. You don't need to be putting him out there. And, Norris is off to a good start in the preseason. And quite honestly, I think it's ridiculous he's out there tonight, too.
Is there a bigger point here? I mean, I saw a quote from you, from Ruff, about just like being disappointed Wednesday and wanting to play as regulars mostly because of it.
Yeah, I think there is a point to be made here. Usually the last preseason game that's on the road is very AHL heavy, and that's what I was expecting here, and we really don't see that other than Metza, playing for Murtka, who's ill. At least they, and he said he wants Dahlin he wants to give him the night off, so he could have just dumped Dahlin back into the lineup, but he didn't. So I get it to a point where he's telling this team right away, right off the bat, that Wednesday was unacceptable. Wednesday was not the way you want to end the preseason. And, okay, we're going to do it again. And you can do that for the most part. I just don't think you need to do it with Norris.
Right. The good news from Wednesday was Norris really looked great. I mean, he made a couple of just dynamite plays in the game. The goal was fantastic, maybe only trumped by Dahlin's end-to-end rush, which also resulted in a goal. Well, they're going to have their hands full, whatever. They're going to have an NHL lineup. They're not playing Scranton Wilkes-Barre tonight because Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Carlson, Raquel, the gang is there. I don't know enough about all the depth in the Pittsburgh lineup to tell you it's all the regulars, but I mean those are the kingpins, and they're all in the lineup as we look at our spotlight here, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is you're not only did he have a line, the Sabres have a lineup of, we are really tired of the preseason, let's get the regular season going, let's get this over with and just not get hurt, which often you see from a team in the preseason, near the end of the preseason. But you also had a hungry lineup of the Penguins, a bunch of guys that are – I mean, the Penguins, let's face it, they're in a little bit of a rebuild too, and these are the guys that want to take jobs, and they wanted to try to impress, and I think they did. So, they were up against that too, where it's going to be totally different in this lineup.
Yes, there are injuries to consider here, and they're not going to be in perfect health going into night one, but – are you impressed with what you've seen this preseason in terms of protecting the net, reducing the number of good chances against, for whatever it's worth, in preseason games?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. I think they have done a better job of doing that. And, I think Doan has been a bright spot in the preseason. I've liked what I've seen from him a lot. And he's... as advertised, he's always around the net and doing those types of things. There is Johnson I've liked a lot, and it looks like Johnson now probably has earned himself a spot, at least till Kesselring gets back. I've really been impressed with, he was a guy that wasn't even talked about, and he didn't get sent to Rochester. He wound up actually, in the Sabres camp. So, I think he's had a good camp too and has been impressive.
Yeah, he's a guy, when last season ended, I think maybe someone called and brought his name up, and I thought, I think it's over. He seemed like he was going to break through. He didn't, and now he probably has found his level, but here we are, less than a year later, and, it looks like he's passed Bryson by, maybe, at least. I think that's a good sign. Paul, we have not talked at all yet, us anyway, I know it's come up on the morning show, about the Tuck contract and the logjam around the league. I mean, Kaprizov signed, and I think maybe a lot of people, the national heavies, writing about and talking about hockey, they're like, okay, maybe the dam is breaking, and we'll get the McDavid contract and the Eichel contract, and then at the next tier, Kempe and Tuck and these guys who are all going into the final years of their deals. There are others that I'm not mentioning, but those are the ones off the top of my mind that are coming to my mind. How about Tuck? It feels to me like we're at a point where he could ask for anything, and the Sabres almost have to give it to him.
It's been that way in my mind since July 1st, since he was eligible to be signed, and definitely I think what you were saying is agents were waiting to see, where this was going to start and where it's going to go, and. Tuck, I'm sure, probably was asking for more than $10 million. Just because of the expanded salary cap and where things are rolling. And Kaprizov is sitting there at $17 million, which they didn't know until very recently where that was going to go. Now Tuck isn't him, but what probably everybody thought was going to be around an $8.5 million contract, it's probably going to be around 10 now.
If not more, even. Yeah. I wonder.
And I'm not sure Terry Pagula has a taste for that. Well, he better get it pretty soon because it'll be an absolute disaster if Tuck is allowed to leave.
Yeah, the clock is ticking on all these guys. The seasons are going to start here, right? I mean, the opening night is coming, and oftentimes guys want to have that sort of thing done before the season begins. Now, there's in this case of the Sabres, a little less than a week. Other teams are starting before the Sabres begin on Thursday, so we'll see. But I listen. I love Alex Tuck, as a player and someone who clearly wants to be on the team, he's going to be 30 in May. So if we're talking like about an 8-year contract at, 11 or 12, Kyle Oposo warning bells are going off in my head.
Well, unfortunately for the Sabres, they've pretty much got to live with it. I mean, you maybe just got to hope that, not everybody can't play anymore at 38, but it's usually the star players, the Ovechkin or Crosby or Jágr, that group of guys that are still very, very good, at age 38. We don't know where Tuck's going to be at age 38 or how he's going to react to aging. Maybe only half the contract he would be the Alex Tuck that we're talking about. You just don't know how it's going to go. Do I want to sign a 30-year-old to an 8-year contract? No. But it's similar to the spot they were in when Briere and Drury both left. And next thing you know, the Edmonton Oilers are preying on the Buffalo Sabres, and they signed Vanek to an offer sheet. Well, the Sabres just felt we can't lose him too.
We have to do this.
We absolutely have to match this. Where, as it turned out, if the Sabres just would have given Drury and Briere what they wanted, for $12 million, they could have had both those players and wound up with 4 or 5 first-round picks for Vanek. And Edmonton was picking down low in or high in the draft, rather. So, that's what you could have wound up with. But they had their backs against the wall, and they had no choice from a public relations move other than to give Vanek that to match that offer, whether they wanted to or not.
Paul, thank you. We'll hear more from you later.
Okay.
I didn't mean that as a threat. Just saying, I think Paul knows that.
He knows how it works, right? Knows what the schedule is. Paul's appearances with us here, even on the pregame show, brought to you by Equitable Advisors, by the way. Planning for your future is about more than just money. Let Equitable be your guide. And by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this.
The Sabres and the Penguins both open against Pittsburgh. The opening night in the league schedule is Tuesday. There are 3 games Tuesday, including the middle one at 8, Penguins at Rangers. There are 4 games on Wednesday night. The Leafs open Wednesday against Montreal. And then there are 14 games on Thursday, including the Rangers at the Sabres. No games next Friday. The Sabres' second game of the season is next Saturday night in Boston. So, 14 games on October 9th. One game we care about tonight, Sabres at Penguins. Let's hear from Lindy Ruff.